Thanks for tuning in to the ISCA broadcast. I am Josh Schaffner, driver of the Paradigm Motorsports number 50 car. Over the past 9 months, our team at Paradigm has accomplished so much. From forming the team and driver roster, 12 wins in ISCA in 2023, winning the 2023 ISCA Team Championship, having 2 drivers in the Championship 4 in Phoenix, and having an incredible run in the Daytona 24-hour race in January. An effort that took us 2 years to plan and couldn't have been done without the formation of Paradigm Motorsports. With that said, it's my pleasure to announce that tonight's race at Charlotte will be the first of 5 races for which the Paradigm Motorsports team will be the primary sponsor. ISCA is a long-running league known for clean racing, long green flag runs, and excellent competition. ISCA has experienced exceptional growth in 2024. Our Paradigm Motorsports team felt it was a wonderful opportunity to partner with the ISCA during this time of growth to enhance the league for the remainder of the season and beyond. Our sponsored races will all have reasoning behind them, and we look forward to sharing these stories as the season progresses. Tonight's race is one of the biggest and longest races of the season, and the race in which I captured my first ISCA victory. I joined this league because of its reputation to race around drivers that over time would make me a better driver. Seeing so many names from that race still competing in ISCA today is excellent. Last and most importantly, as we head into this Memorial Day weekend, let us honor and remember the brave men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. On behalf of the entire Paradigm Motorsports team, enjoy this ISCA broadcast.
You served and forged the relationships that only being baptized in the fire of combat can develop. At FallInVeteran.com, we understand the unique bond that veterans share. That's why we've created a platform where you can connect, share experiences, and build lifelong friendships with fellow veterans. Signing up is easy. Simply visit www.fall-in-veteran.com and create your profile. Customize it to reflect your military service, interests, and hobbies. FallInVeteran.com is more than just an online community. It's a support network where you can find resources, advice, and encouragement from those who understand what you've been through. Whether you're looking for camaraderie, mentorship, or simply a place to share your stories, FallInVeteran.com has it all. Join thousands of veterans who have already found their tribe and start connecting today. FallInVeteran.com. Come join us and experience the power of community. Sign up now at www.fall-in-veteran.com.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the ISCA Super Cup Series. This is going to be one of the longest races I think we are going to do this season. 370 miles at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Essentially, this is the headquarters for a lot of the NASCAR teams, and it is going to be the headquarters for some ISCA action. Of course, my name is Brian Britt. We have Big Al as my co-commentator here tonight. Kobe Jordan down behind the cameras, and I'll tell you what, this is going to be some pure and unadulterated racing here, Big Al, at Charlotte. I mean, this is classic. How you feeling about it?
Feeling pretty good, Brian. And once again, we are back here at the Coca-Cola 600. This is one of those premier racing events for all NASCAR fans, man. And it's always a good feeling to come back to Charlotte every year this time just to see these guys duke it out. Tonight is going to be a long one.
It is going to be a long one. Of course, we talk about the Coca-Cola 600 on iRacing. The NIS race official is 600 miles. It is a 400-lap race. But tonight, of course, in the ISCA, we'll be going a little bit less than that, which I am very grateful for. We're actually going to be doing 250 laps, 375 miles. Speaking of that, let's go right into the details of tonight's race. Of course, we kind of just talked a little bit about some of those details. 375 miles here. Of course, Team Paradigm is sponsoring tonight's race. Really cool to see that for sure. As I mentioned, 250 laps, those stages. This is going to be a little bit different from other races. Stage 1 is 25 laps, going to, of course, lap 25 to 26. Stage 2 ends on lap 70, going to 71. Stage 3 ends on lap 125, going to 126, and the race itself ends on lap 250, going to 251. So 4 stages here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. That's a little different. We also have a little bit extra tires to play around with. 7 sets of tires altogether here tonight. 6 going to be actually down in the pits for these guys to change into. Tire wear is going to be significant. I do believe we'll see a lot of fall off. Fuel window is 65 laps. One thing I want to talk about, though, Big Al, is this is such a long race. I do believe we're going to see a transition in tonight. What do you think? But no thoughts. Okay. The qualifying course is underway. As looks like some drivers are trying to make their way onto the racetrack. With such a long race, though, I don't believe. I think track position is going to be important, but I also think surviving is probably going to be more important than anything. Let's take a quick look at the points coming into tonight's race. Definitely want to get ourselves surprised on who is at the top of the board. It looks like Matthew DeCiani is actually at the top of the board. He has 1 win on the season, has been very, very consistent. He has 6 top 5s, 8 playoff points, or 7 points back is Brian Johnson, who also has 1 win. Patrick Gitter has been working his way up through the point standings. Of course, he is our defending champion. He has 2 wins. He's in 3rd. Derek Heitman, of course, is in 4th place. He has 2 wins as well. Brandon Pasalacqua has been very, very consistent as well. He has 1 win. He's in 5th. Of course, Randy Mullins as well has been really consistent. Everybody's been really consistent here this season. He's in 6th. Of course, Abner Acosta, he's been really top 3 speed every single race. He's in 7th. Of course, Miller Bonds, we didn't see him, I don't believe, last week. But that was, of course, the Norfolksboro All-Star race. So that race did not count for points. Kyle Holden, of course, sits in 9th. And Josh Schaffner rounds out the top 10 in points. Now, based on practice speed, Schaffner was the quickest in practice. So I'm not sure if that's going to change anything or maybe affect what qualifying looks like here tonight, Big Al.
I don't know, man. I just think this is going to be this is a heavyweight bout. Guys are going to have to come here tonight. They're going to have to pack their patience. That's something we say. 3 stages. That's another thing. So it's a lot going on. There's a lot to dissect. But with that 3 stages, that's 3 opportunities to make hay while the sun's shining, as Brian says.
Yeah, that's going to be 3 opportunities for these guys to get stage points and playoff points. So definitely a huge deal. Clayton Hoffman just took the pole. Of course, Jeremy Sumter right now is in 2nd place. Very quick lap from Clayton Hoffman. He hit a 29.225 just now. And anytime Clayton Hoffman's on the racetrack, he's going to be fast, that's for sure, as everybody's trying to get their lap times in. I do want to look at the temperature. We see about a 96-degree track temp at the moment. And I think as the race goes on, we will probably see it cool down Of course, we do see a little bit of wind. And as I mentioned, Big Al, you didn't really answer me before. What do you think about that? We're going to possibly see a transition in tonight here at Charlotte, considering this is a almost 400-mile race.
Yeah, and I think a lot of these drivers have done themselves, due diligence, and at least, tried to get in one of those NIS races where you actually run the whole 600 miles. So they should be familiar with the transition. I don't think it's going to be as big of a deal. I think these guys are, they're probably with the 3 stages. I think they should be more than prepared for it.
And they should have a lot of opportunities as well to make adjustments on the race car. Because one thing about it, with those transitions, it is. I mean, if we do transition in tonight, the handling of the race car is going to change completely. I mean, the rubber is going to be laid down on the racetrack a lot more as well. So I think a lot of these guys are going to want to set up their cars maybe for later in the race, or maybe have those adjustments already kind of planned out ahead of time. That way, as soon as they come down for these stage breaks, they're popping in the adjustments, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Well, all righty. Looks like qualifying is getting ready to wrap up. I think we have a pretty good long national anthem. Let's pay some attention to our nation. And, of course, I don't think we're going to be able to get the chance to wish everybody a happy and safe Memorial Day, but we do want to thank all of the veterans that served and lost their lives to protect the freedom of America. So definitely our hats are off to you. We're going to go ahead and play the national anthem. We'll be back.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we walked were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular upon spur, singing out, yeah, through the night, that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the
And now, race fans, for the most famous words in motorsports.
I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ISCA Super Cup Series Paradigm 375 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Of course, we're going to go ahead and go down through the starting grid here for tonight's race. And up on the pole, of course, we talked about him taking the pole earlier. Clayton Hoffman hitting a 29.225. Patrick Gitter, a little bit of a last-second qualifying. He gets a 29.289, very close to Clayton's time, of course. So that is the front row. Blair Holloman, look at that, up in third place. Very great qualifying effort from the Tim Machine. Of course, Jeremy Sumter is going to be starting in fourth. Brandon Pasalacqua is going to be starting in fifth place. Matthew Cisna up in sixth place. Josh Schaffner, who was fastest in practice, he's going to be starting in seventh. Randy Mullins in eighth. Greg Carr is going to be starting in ninth. Paul Hill, I do believe that's a new driver. I don't know if we've seen a whole lot of him in this series. He's starting 10th. Greg Wachinski in 11th. And Mark Sanchez in 12th.
That's going to put Nick King in 13th, with Brian Johnson alongside him in 14th. 15th shows Frank Flores and Randy Belk on his outside in 16th. 17th, you see Tim Wortman Jr. and Jay Hone on his outside. Kenny Powell finds himself in 19th with Jose Medina rounding out the top 20. 21 shows Randy Drumhiller with Alexander Carr on his outside. Paul Osens in 23rd with John Bender rounding out his outside. And J.C. Evans rounds out this 25-car field.
Yeah, J.C. Evans, of course, actually making it back into the race car this week. So glad to have that. I'm sure he's glad to be back in the race car. Of course, we did like having him up here in the booth, though, for sure. And I know Dylan Banks, surprised to not see him on the racetrack here tonight. But definitely a lot of excitement, I think, scheduled for us here tonight. A long race here at Charlotte. This is the longest race we're probably going to do all season long. I guess we ought to do over and unders on cautions, Big Al. I mean, that's kind of a new tradition we've been starting here.
I'm thinking with the extra stage that we got there, I'm going to go ahead and put it at 3.
So 3 cautions, of course, not counting the stage cautions. I'm going to say 2. What does our producer say? So we got our producer saying he thinks there's going to be 4 cautions that are caused by accidents.
And I think you're going to be the one that wins. I think it should be a low rate with cautions here. Just not a lot of things to get these guys in trouble. Plenty of room here at Charlotte, and this is one of those tracks where this is where we all cut our teeth. When you come into the service of iRacing, you start racing at Charlotte.
No, you're 100% right. I mean, I remember when I first started on iRacing, I was in the street stocks racing at Charlotte. And, very easy track for those street stocks. You just pretty much wide open around this place. And it's almost like a super speedway, essentially, but a lot of fun. But when you get into these bigger cars with the higher horsepower, it is a little bit more complex. We're going to see a lot of lifting, a lot of dragging of the brake. This is not, I'd say, the easiest mile and a half. I mean, you have to back up your corners.
Hey, I'm going to throw another one at you. I think you're even going to see some shifting. So as we get to rolling down this thing here a little bit later, we start to get into side the cars and we start showing these different angles. I think we're even going to have a Pump It Up segment here tonight. So go ahead and get your sound systems cued, ladies and gentlemen, because we'll try to give you plenty of room in advance so you can actually go ahead and shake the bass shakers if you want to. Or we'll try to get that.
Wake up the neighbors, right?
Yeah, we'll try to get that done before it gets too late for you don't want to disturb the neighbors and the kiddos. But man, I just think this is going to be one of those all-American races.
It is, for sure. I mean, you can even see a lot of Memorial Day paints there in the field, a lot of stars and stripes. You can see, of course, the 6 of Pasalacqua. I really like that paint scheme. We even see the 11 of Matthew Cisna rocking a paint scheme. I mean, we see Blair Holloman, U.S. Army, Jeremy Sumter. Almost everybody is rocking some sort of, at least everybody in the top 10 mostly, is rocking some sort of patriotic paint scheme. So you love to see that. As here comes the pace car down pit road here in just a moment to get started. The Paradigm 375 and into the Geico restart zone we go. Clayton Hoffman up through the gears and the green flag is out for the first time. A great start there from Patrick Gitter up on the top side. They really stayed side by side into 1 and 2. I do think we're going to see that top higher groove be really, really fast here at Charlotte. And it looks like, Gitter is going to stay right along the 92. And he might have something for Clayton. Last week, Clayton was so good at North Wilkesboro, but I think Gitter he's got that thing ready to go here at Charlotte.
Yeah, absolutely. But I still think that Clayton Hoffman is going to be one of those guys to beat. But this is going to be a long one, Brian. So I think everybody this you're going to have to be patient because the one thing you don't want to get taken out without even having a chance at throwing your hat in the ring here for a possibility to win this thing.
Yeah, you're going to want to really be patient. I mean, you don't really want to, throw all your cards on the table early, right? I mean, you want to hold some back a little bit and keep guys guessing because we have a little bit of a battle going on for fourth place. Brandon Pasalaco gets to the inside of Blair Holloman. That, of course, is for that fourth place. It's like the sixth place or the sixth.
He's 26
Oh,
gets into the 25. Greg Wachinski actually taking a blunt of that as he actually found himself into the wall early into the race, Brian. You don't want to be tearing the race cars up, not just yet. So definitely keep an eye on that to see if it affects Greg's handling any at all.
Yeah, I saw that. It looks like the 5 machine. Saw that black and orange race car get up into the fence there a little bit. So hopefully everything's okay with him. And it just seems like Greg Wachinski has had a lot of bad luck here this season. I mean, we have not really seen him get the finishes I think that team thinks they deserve. As we see some battling going on a little bit further back, I do believe I see Josh Schaffner working on Paul Hill right now. That's for the 8th place position here. We see those guys side by side. Paul Hill, a guy, into the wall a little bit there.
And sorry, Brian, but this is what I want to say because Paul Hill, he's the kind of new guy. He's that, he's that wild card. And
we don't know what to expect from him.
Yeah, that's what happened with Greg Carr. He kind of got tangled up with Paul Hill, and Greg Wachinski got that swing in the wall. So you're going to make a name for yourself, good, bad, or indifferent. Sorry about that. That's
yeah. That's a good, I like that. You're going to make a name for yourself no matter what, whether it's good or bad. One thing that's so easy to do here at this racetrack is get into the wall. I mean, we see how the front stretch is, Big Al. I mean, it's almost 2 corners on the front stretch. I mean, it's not really a straightaway. I really wouldn't want to call it a straightaway because there are 2 corners, and the walls kind of jut down and very easy to hit the wall, especially when you're side by side.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing is these cars, they're going to track, so you're hoping that guy can kind of hold his line and not kind of slide up on you because the wall here, man, it's pretty unforgiving.
Well, and that's the thing about it, because of the angles on that front stretch, it's very when you hit that wall, it's not going to be a small impact like you would if you hit the wall on the back stretch. So, yeah, definitely got to keep an eye on that. Of course, it looks like Blair Holloman now under attack from Randy Mullins. Mullins is going to move up into the 5th place position, utilizing that higher groove, as well as we see Matthew Cisna trying to work on Blair as well. So Blair, of course, very fast in qualifying. Looks like he's kind of maybe taking a little bit of a cautious approach here in Stage 1. We got to keep in mind, Stage 1 does go to, I do believe, 25 to 26. So a very short first stage here at Charlotte. Of course, Patrick right now in control.
Yeah, indeed, a very, very short stage 1. And that's another thing these guys are going to understand. They really kind of got to get going. You don't have time to kind of sit in and figure it out. This is one of those things where it's really going to be hammered down, driving hard, and then we'll take a measurement of where we're at the end of that.
Yeah, and you always talk about how, the stages are so important when it comes to experimenting and figuring out, get the data collection. I think data collection is incredibly important in Stage 1 and Stage 2. And, of course, now in this race, in Stage 3 as well. I mean, you're going to need that data so much just because of, as well, the track's going to be changing. And only having 25 laps to do it is kind of a little bit less than what we usually expect here in the ISCA. So a lot of these guys are really going to be crunching the numbers. As we see, I do believe the 10 goes way up high the racetrack. I do believe the 11 of Cisna is going to try to take that position away. I think he's going to succeed. He's up to 6th now. Big moving for the 11 right now. I do believe he started in 6th, but he did fall back initially, but has moved back up to his original position. We also see a pretty big gaggle of cars further back. I do believe Randy Belk fighting, if I'm not mistaken, with Kenny Powell.
And that is
for 14.
We did see Cisna. He actually showed out last week. He showed up, and he was really kind of going for it there, if you will, at least for Stage 2, if I'm correct.
Well, he definitely has very much been wanting to prove himself in this series. I think that is very much clear. As we see a little bit further back, we see Alexander Carr trying to work his way up to Kenny Powell and Belk. Belk up on the top side as Powell trying to work his way through the field. Now, I'm assuming Kenny's probably got a pretty fast race car, but one thing about Charlotte is very difficult to make these passes on the bottom, and you can see it's just hard to get that exit speed that you need as Randy Belk is going to hold off the 24. We see the 18, I do believe, battling with Tim Wortman Jr. Of course, Wortman is in 16th right now, holding on to that spot, running that top side. Now, one thing about Charlotte, if you run that higher line for too long, you will pay a premium when it comes to the tire wear. I think that higher line does not seem to be conducive to lasting tire conservation.
No, and drivers are going to have to they're going to move up and down, especially as the temperature changes and they get a little bit racy. You're not going to be able to do the same thing over and over again. You're probably going to be forced to do something different, especially as we transition through the different stages of this race.
Sanchez moving way up the track. As you can see, Frank Flores dives underneath. Of course, this is for the 18th position. We also have Blair Holloman, who started up in, I do believe, 3rd place, has fallen back now to 10th place. Just got passed by Josh Schaffner. So we do have stuff going on all over this racetrack, and guys kind of ebbing and flowing throughout this racetrack, in the field, trying to figure out exactly where they belong right now, where they're comfortable. As you see, I do believe that's Greg Carr going up the racetrack there. And it looks like Carr is going to move back into possibly 8th place. Carr, very good qualifying effort. He had a little bit of like you said, a mishap hitting the wall. He's running way up on the top of the track right now. And it seems like it's very good to defend against someone charging on the inside, to run that high side. But what is the price you're paying on those tires? But it looks like the 25 very comfortable up there on the top.
Got a little problem up front, Brian. As I do believe Clayton Hoffman got a little twitchy there, might have a little bit of contact with the wall.
And it looks like Hoffman is kind of battling pretty hard with Gitter right now. Big run to almost get to the inside of Gitter as the fight for the lead is starting to heat up. Clayton Hoffman really starting to put a lot of pressure on Patrick Gitter. What line is he going to use to be able to get this pass done? And you said, you can see he is getting a little bit tight in the dirty air of Gitter. And I think that's one thing we really haven't talked a whole lot about here tonight so far, is going to be dirty air. I think it's going to have a big influence on the way these cars handle, especially as the run goes on.
And I think another thing you're seeing right now, Clayton Hoffman going to take that opportunity to press Patrick Gitter as much as he can right now, because last week he didn't have enough. And so better to find that out now, Brian, so you can make any adjustments maybe to maybe pull that 21 in a little bit. But
I love the defending line that we're seeing from 21. You can see that the 92 keeps trying to go to the inside of the 21, but Patrick Gitter has moved up to the higher part of the track. We also saw an attack from the 6 of Brandon Passalacqua on Jeremy Sumter. It just seems like these guys are now in that defensive kind of mode right now. No one is really letting that pass happen. They're kind of using that defensive top line. I really like what I'm seeing there, as we see Passalacqua once again goes to the inside of Sumter, as well as we see the 92 of Hoffman to the inside of Gitter. We also see Randy Mullins starting to drive his way up into the top 5. We have a 5-car breakaway right now.
Yeah, indeed, a 5-car breakaway is what we have. Is what
crossover from the 21. Sorry to interrupt you, Big Al.
No, just saying, as we're coming up on 5 laps to go here, you can definitely tell some guys have got it figured out, kind of got the finger on the pulse. The 33 car makes contact with Josh Schaffner. That gets him a little squirted, but he was actually able to maintain and continue on.
Yeah.
That's definitely going to wake him up.
And there is a pretty heated battle further back here. These guys are battling hard. But, of course, the battle is still on for the lead. As we see, it looks like Clayton Hoffman has taken it over. But here comes Jeremy Sumter. Sumter says, no, it's time for me to go. The 52 to the inside of the 21. But it just seems so hard to pass on the bottom right now.
Yeah, I don't know if Gitter was down with all of that. I think his plan was to get back up there and kind of maybe, get around Clayton. But here comes, Jeremy Sumter saying, hey, no, check it out. I want to play too. And this was like, yeah, I don't know how much room we got up here for you, bud.
It just seems really difficult at this moment to kind of use that bottom line. Everybody that keeps going down to the bottom just kind of the run dies out for him. And I think that might have something to do with the track conditions right now. I think as the run goes on, or as the night progresses, I should say, the track's going to cool down a lot more, and we'll see those bottom line passes
Greg
work a lot.
Wyszynski off the racetrack went through the infield there just for a touch. Not sure what happened there, but Greg's he doesn't look like he's having fun down there tonight, Brian.
No, not at all. Of course, he's back here in 13th place. And the thing is, what we're seeing, Big Al, is handling is really starting to go away for a lot of race cars. So guys that maybe are faster in the early portions of the run are showing that you have to really pedal these cars as the run goes on. And if you don't handle that car right, you're going to end up making a mistake and going through the infield. And it's very easy to do that at Charlotte. I mean, I got to say, I've done it quite a few times myself here. As we see the 21 gets a run on the high side, and I think this is going to be the pass he needs to maybe get it done here for stage 1. But can Clayton pounce on it? This has been an awesome battle here for this lead, for the top 3 as well. Because, of course, you see Jeremy Sumter still trying to hold on to third, as Pasalacqua has not been an easy customer to deal with, that's for sure.
Blair Holloman is right now. I mean, he is right there, got his hands full with Tim Wortman Jr., and these guys are at that cut point. Wortman needs to get past Holloman here the next lap or so if he wants to try to grab some of those goodies that are going to be
That's
out
a
there.
good point. Stage points are going to be incredibly valuable here tonight at Charlotte, and I think a lot of these guys know exactly that, and Blair very much in need of stage points. Virgin possibly on a battle for second place, as we see, I do believe, Jeremy Sumter attacking Clayton Hoffman, as we are, I do believe, on the last lap of stage 1. Patrick Gitter, though, I do believe has gotten the lead secured, and I don't think anyone's going to be able to really attack him for that position, as Clayton Hoffman is going to barely hold off Jeremy Sumter. We should see the caution flag fly any moment. They're racing until the caution comes out, and Clayton is ahead of the 92 right now. And the yellow flag is out. Clayton Hoffman falls back to third. Jeremy Sumter, right before the caution came out, was able to secure second place. But, of course, Patrick Gitter able to win here in stage 1. What a job from him. Of course, Brandon Pasalacqua came home in 6th place. Randy Mullins in 5th. Greg Carr in 6th. Very impressive run from the 25. Paul Hill, 7th. Josh Schaffner, 8th. Nick King, I think this is his first stage top 10, if I'm not mistaken. He finishes 9th. Blair Holloman, great job to him. He finishes in 10th. Barely able to hold on to it after being attacked from Tim Wortman Jr. With the stage complete, we're going to take a step away, and we'll come back and we'll talk to the 21 of Patrick Gitter. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ISCA Super Cup Series. Of course, we just completed stage number 1. We have our stage 1 winner joining us up here in the booth, Patrick Gitter. I mean, man, what a battle there for that 25-lap stage. I mean, walk us through what it was like battling Clayton. It seemed like you guys were very close on pace.
Yeah, we were. That was a blast. I mean, shout out to Clayton for that was really aggressive but really clean. So that was fantastic. But yeah, it was just it was fun to get a short run there and see what everybody had a little bit. I knew the pace was going to be fast, so I felt like it was just going to be about maintaining a fast pace and track position there for just a 25 lap run.
It definitely seemed like you guys were, battling pretty good. I mean, the top line, though, we noticed kind of a moment to where you switched your thought process. Was that kind of always the game plan to kind of move up to the top after about 15 laps?
Not really. I honestly didn't plan on that. I just felt like, this is a little bit harder track temp than we've had before. Threw some adjustments in pre-race, and just felt like I was getting a little too loose in the bottom, so it moved up, and it seemed to help a little bit by the end of the run.
All right, it looks like we're getting ready to go back green here in just a moment. Who can we shout out before we let you get back to it?
Yeah, man. You guys in the booth for calling the race, Kenny from the league, Team Conti Semper Performance, especially this week. They put a ton of hours into the set. Some additional manpower went into it this week since it's a special week. So it's shown this week, I feel like, for us and the officials. So appreciate those guys. Shout out to C12 Design Shop to get this paint for me here this week. And I think that about does it. So appreciate it, guys.
Alrighty, that was Patrick Gitter, driver of the 21. We had to get him out of here quickly because I know they're getting ready to go back green here in just a moment. Interesting to see that Jeremy Sumter was able to win the race off pit road, and if I'm not mistaken, I have not looked at it yet, but I can bet he took a 2-tire stop.
I'm looking at it now. That is not the case. He actually spent 14.5 seconds in the box. Just a really, really good pit stop, Brian.
Wow, that's impressive. I thought that the only way he would have been able to get that lead like that was if he took a 2-tire stop. But great job to Jeremy Sumter. We're getting ready to come into the Geico restart zone. This could be the play for stage 2, is winning that race off pit road. Here comes the green flag, and Sumter off and away. Very good restart there from Sumter. Able to kind of put a gap on these guys into turn 1. Patrick Gitter, of course, able to secure second place. They all kind of single filed out immediately, unlike stage 1. Now, we do have some battling further back. I do believe we see Greg Carr trying to hold off Josh Schaffner for 7th.
Well, Greg Carr's trying to get himself back in position right now. He kind of got shuffled out of line. Woo, getting really sporty there with Greg and Josh. Josh definitely having the fast car, trying to go by him on the inside.
Yeah, Josh, I think Josh is going to be a factor in this race. I mean, of course, this is a track that, tire wear is very significant. And it's also, a track that I think Josh will be good at. I think that he's going to be one that we're going to see here later. And a lot of times he's the one that has his head on straight a lot of times. So, and I think that's going to be an important thing to have at a track like Charlotte. I mean, this is going to be a long race. Survival is going to be key. And I'm hoping Schaffner can make something happen. Because I gotta say, Big Al, Josh has not had a good season. I gotta be honest.
Well, he's still in the top 10 in points, Brian. And in events like this, if he has a solid points day to day, that'll help his cause. You can't count him out. Maybe he is going to get on it and just fight out of that paper bag that he's in. But I think he's going to be okay.
No, I definitely agree. I think that he doesn't have any quit in his in his vocabulary. That's not a word that he definitely thinks about. But he has been working his way forward as well. He's up to 7th right now. Just got past Greg Carr. He's going to try to, I do believe, work on the guys ahead of him. Here comes Randy Mullins to the inside of Paul Hill. Randy has definitely been another impressive one. I mean, speaking of impressive, and Paradigm this season has been really, really good. And, of course, they're sponsoring tonight's race. So you got to love to see that as well. And it really shows that they stand behind the ISCA. I think that's huge. Because, to sponsor a race in this series, and there's nothing financial that's going to benefit them. They're just doing this because they like the series and they want to support what the ISCA is doing. You got to love that. But I'll tell you what, Jeremy Sumter is gone right now. He is about 0.7 of a second out front as we see a big battle going on between, I do believe, Clayton Hoffman falling back. I think Clayton's doing this on purpose, to be honest.
Well, this stage is almost twice as long as the first stage.
That's
So
right.
that's one thing to think about. It is actually twice as long as the first. Well, almost. But and you got to believe all of these guys have been working diligently this week trying to bring the best setups to this racetrack. This is one of those kind of bragging rights, if you will. So yeah, a lot of guys are going to want to get out front and showcase. They're going to want to say that, hey, look, we weren't just out here screwing off. We brought a fast horse to the race as well.
No, that's a good point, and I think we could see that being displayed in that restart. That this is a preparation. These guys were prepared to do a long run. I mean, really on the restart, they looked a lot more tame than they did on the initial start of the stage 1 green flag. Because I mean, they were side by side essentially on the green in the first green flag. This time, they all single filed out almost immediately. And you look at Clayton, I mean, he's falling back to 6th. I mean, Clayton was just battling for the lead for stage 1. So I think this is all by design for the 92.
Yeah, I mean, this is the middle. I mean, look, the trip just started. We just got on the interstate. This is not the time to be pulling out the big gulps or having to stop to pee. This is the time to just kind of hunker down and keep clean and not get caught up in anything. And then, you kind of got to figure out how important those stage points are for you, because if you go up there and get in that hornet's nest, Brian, it's a pretty good shot you're going to get whacked.
Well, that's the thing about it as well. Clayton kind of falling back into 6th right now. There is a little bit of stuff, a little bit of handling woes, let's say, for Greg Carr. He gets awful close to the wall. If you are trying to take it a little bit easy and you go back into the pack, there is a big danger of getting involved in something that you didn't want to have any part of, I'd say. We do see some battling further back, almost 3 wide back where Matthew Cisna is. Looking back there, we're almost 3 wide. You see Blair Holliman, who started up in the top 3. He's fallen all the way back to 14th. Kenny Powell almost pushing Cisna on the front stretch here. You see John Bender as well. These guys are battling.
Yeah. I mean, you want to battle to stay right up there in the thick of things. You want to make sure you want to stay in that draft.
Well, I mean, and you look at the energy back here, it looks way different than the energy you see up front, right? I mean, the energy back here, this is racing. The guys up front are just like, we're maintaining, right?
Yeah, isn't that weird? Because when you're sitting back here and say, 15th, 16th, 17th, you're really, what are you racing for? Especially at this stage, the only thing is...
Wachinski just touched the apron and came up in front of Matthew Cisna. That was almost a crash.
Wachinski's definitely not having it doesn't look comfortable down there. He don't look like he's having fun.
No, not at all. Oh, contact with the wall there for Kenny Powell. As I saw the smoke come off the side of that race car.
Yeah, you got
also,
a lot
Nick King losing the 7th place position to Randy Mullins.
Got a lot of buffeting going on there. We got all of those cars, a lot of different things going on. That air is doing all kinds of weird stuff.
Yeah, I definitely think that's the case. And guys are trying to get into their rhythms here for a long run. And I just don't think that necessarily everybody's kind of in that rhythm yet. As Randy Mullins does fall back, he's not able to get past the 3. I got to be honest, Nick King has not impressed me. And I know this is probably going to be like, man, why you say that? But Nick King has not impressed me at other racetracks. I got to be completely honest. But he's impressing me tonight at Charlotte. Blair Holliman, big loose condition, all the way down almost to the apron there, as he is under attack from Kenny Powell.
Oh, the 3 sideways there.
I just was talking good about him. Good about him. Nick, come on, man. I talked good about you, and then you spin out.
Well, Nick had to pedal through that turn, and I guarantee you those Goodyears are pretty scuffed up right now. So that's probably going to affect him in the longer parts of this run.
I mean, he looked like he had a pretty good handling race car there. I mean, he was up in the top 10. And, of course, I do believe he is known for dirt racing, so it doesn't seem like these next gens are, as they're very different than if you're, kind of used to being a dirt racer. Going out here to the asphalt, that's quite a different thing. But Jeremy Sumter, of course, out front by 1.3 seconds at the moment. Once that green flag dropped, Jeremy was gone. He just left, and I don't know if that's a good thing. I mean, looking at lap times right now, Jeremy Sumter 30.049 versus Patrick Gitter, 29.937. Patrick and those guys behind Jeremy are starting to reel him back in because I think they are being a little bit more conservative on their tires. So I'm not really sure why Jeremy would have tried to drive away, and I'm not sure if we've seen that strategy before, Big Al, time and time again, where guys will try to run away and then they fall right back into it.
We see it happen all the time. It's like it's the carrot on a stick mentality. When you get out there like that, number one, you don't have anybody to pace yourself with. So you're just out there burning your stuff up. And everybody else, guys like Gitter and Hoffman, they're just back there taking it easy. They're saving. And look, they're not fighting, Brian. There's nothing going on up here. Like you said, these guys are maintaining. Guys from the back of the pack, they're racing. And that doesn't do a whole lot for you once you get down to the part of this stage where you're going to have to race.
Yeah, for sure. Of course, Clayton Hoffman right now, fastest driver on the racetrack. Clear as day what he was doing. He fell back on purpose and is now running the fastest laps on the track. As we see, I do believe some battling further back. Nick King and Brian Johnson on the 4. I definitely think Brian Johnson's going to be in the mix before too long, as he, of course, goes to fight with the 3 as well. You see Wachinski almost deciding to take Brian 3 wide. I'll tell you, I think Greg is on a mission. He's like, I got to do something. I'm tired of having all this bad luck. What awesome action out here.
Oh, there it is.
That's J.C. Evans into the outside wall, racing with Brian Johnson.
Yeah,
and you know J.C. wants a good finish, too, because, I mean, he's been out of the car for quite a while.
Well, I don't know if Brian Johnson actually appreciated it, especially from his view, but, you know, I don't know. I'm not going to comment on that one. I'm going to leave that one to you, man.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, to be honest with you. I think that was just a racing deal. But I know Greg just was sent for a trip down through the AstroTurf once again there. So Greg Wachinski really just not having a great night. And, of course, we saw the 9 up into the outside wall. I'm wondering if that's going to be any residual damage. But, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with Brian. I think that those guys just were kind of racing a little harder than they probably should have been on lap 50.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, that's just my opinion, but, you know, they're here to race. But you just don't want to tear your stuff up. It's just too early to be driving around in a beat-up race car.
And we're getting to that point now where I do believe about 25 laps into this stint, essentially. So we're reaching that point where we're about at the same distance that we had in stage number 1.
The only difference is
we are to show that weakness now.
Yeah, and the difference is we still got 18 laps to go. So, you know, we're at that point that we were in the last stage, but we still have about half of that to go yet still. So this is the part now where you start to figure out exactly who was naughty or nice, because the 52 car, I mean, he can hear that trailer coming. I mean, they're coming around the bend right behind him, and it's got to be pretty unnerving.
Yeah, I think he's starting to realize that he made a mistake by trying to pull away. Because, about 0.7 of a second is Patrick Gitter back from Sumter. So I hope Sumter learned a lesson there to not really just drive away. I mean, you have to, especially in the ISCA, you cannot just drive away at a 1.5 mile track. You have to maintain the gap. And you see that all the time in real NASCAR as well. Guys don't just drive away because they know that they're essentially burning that candle. And you know, once the wax is gone, the wax is gone, Big Al.
Conservation, conserve. And the spotter, the crew chief, everybody's going to be talking to the driver about that. They're going to be saying, hey, man, just back off. Take it easy on the equipment. Now he's got his hands full, and his mirror is full.
And
I just hope he can maintain and get a top 10 finish. Greg Wachinski loose again. J.C. Evans right up, coming along the inside, or the outside rather, Greg Wachinski and Brian Johnson. These 3, I mean, they really got a lot going on there.
And they've been battling a lot. I mean, these guys can't seem to get away from one another. Greg, of course, trying to work his way by Brian Johnson. Lachinski has been through a lot here, but he definitely seems like he's got a fast race car. But it
It's a
just
good
seems like
run.
it's hard to get the momentum and stay. And it looks like he's going to get it. He's going to get up to that 11th place position. Now he just needs to get by Nick King and get some playoff points.
Now, if he comes up behind King, because I mean these two have been suffering a similar fate, so I think that's going to be a very interesting race, and that's for a point. So that race means something. Lachinski now to the inside of Nick King.
And Randy Bell just he's now going back to last place because he just actually spun. He is, of course, on the apron. Not sure what Randy is doing here. I think Randy might be calling it quits here, guys. Randy coming to pit road. I think we got a replay of Randy Belt with his issue, just spinning, essentially getting loose off of turn number 2. Great job avoiding the wall. Not really sure why he's giving up here. I think he still has a race ahead of him that he could still maintain. I mean, he didn't hit the wall. Essentially just got loose off of turn 2.
I need a little bit of, might need some TLC, Brian.
Well, hold on. I think we're going to look back at it here. Did we see some contact that led to this? You see Cisna up at the top of the track. I wonder, maybe there was contact? No, he just got loose. He just got loose coming off of 2. And he did a great job keeping it off the inside wall. I don't really know why he'd give up right now, but battle for the lead. Jeremy Sumter is under fire from Clayton Hoffman. Of course, you see Brandon Pasalacqua in the midst of a battle as well with Patrick Gitter. They are fighting hard for this lead. Sumter desperate to hold on to it as the 92 drafts up to the back of the 52.
10 laps to go. That's the reason why you'll start to see the fangs come out here, Brian. It is go time. So now, if you want to have yourself to be a recipient of those points, you've got to make sure that you're in the top 10.
But this time around, we have about a 4-car breakaway. So it seems like there's just about a handful of cars that are really capable of driving away here at this racetrack as we see Clayton to the inside. Can he make something happen? Can he get this pass secured? Of course, we have not seen a whole lot of passes be very successful on the bottom side. The ultimate defending line has been the top, and that's where Jeremy is. Oh, Jeremy into the wall. That's going to help out, of course, Clayton's hopes there.
So
if I was in Jeremy's shoes, I would go fall back behind the 21 and just maintain until I could throw a new set of tires on it.
I would not try to fight anybody. I would just try to get into the slipstream, let these guys drag you along. You know, best case you get a 4th place out of this. It's still not too far gone, but the more he fights, the further he's going to go back. So here's the question, man. This field is spread out. I mean, it literally looks like my cousin's teeth. But what do you what do you do now? If you're in the way back, you're thinking short pit?
Well, I mean, I don't think so. I mean, maybe. I mean, but I don't know. I think the tire problem is going to be bigger than you know you would want to do if you were going to short pit and have a little deficit. I wouldn't want to do that. Of course, I do believe stage 2 or stage 3 is going to be about the same length as this stage.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's definitely, but I mean, I feel like if you're that far back already, Big Al, doing a short pit is not going to help your situation. I think that's just gonna kind of exacerbate the pace issues that you have. I think you're gonna really want to work on the race car, figure out what's wrong, throw some adjustments at it. I'll tell you what, though, Jeremy Sumter does not want Patrick Gitter getting this 3rd place position away. They are battling hard right now.
It's almost like if you just fall into one of them hornets' nests, you know what's wrong. You're getting stung. You know, you just got to figure out how do you quit getting stung. So
battle for the lead, though. Pasalacqua challenging Clayton Hoffman. I gotta be wholly honest. I'm surprised to see someone able to challenge Clayton this late in the run. Pasalacqua seems like he has got it dialed in.
Hey, that might be the stage that he was looking for. And the rest of his team, if they can go back and kind of duplicate what his adjustments were, I mean, that kind of gives those guys a leg up there a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely could give them a little bit of hope, as we do as well have a battle going on for 7th place. Tim Wortman Jr. fighting with Paul Hill at the moment. as it looks like Wortman is going to get past Hill and up into 7th. Wortman, I do believe, started way back in the back. Now, I just want to make sure. Wortman Jr. started in 17th. He started way back in the pack. So very impressive run from the 83. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, he had a very good run, very good speed last week at Norfolk Borough as well, if I'm not mistaken. Jeremy Sumter into the wall a little bit there, right in front of Patrick Gitter. Jeremy is definitely looking like he's struggling right now. I got to be completely honest. I think he is hating life. That car just seems to be very tight.
These cars can go from fast to not fun real quick, and if you got one of those wild cars, look like King, he's got his hands full, just not looking like it's fun.
No,
Alexander Carr's going to be coming up on the inside. These guys they're still in it. They're trying to, they got 3 laps, trying to get up there to do what they can to maybe grab a stage point, but man, looks like that train's just coasting on down the road there, Brian.
Yeah, of course they have the till lap 75 or 276, so they do still have a couple laps to play with, but I think it's a long shot to get up there into the top 10. Of course, Paul Hill has fallen back to 10th place, and if he continues to drop, then maybe Brian Johnson will have a chance of getting some points. But you see Alexander Carr, he's showing some really good speed, that's for sure. But battle still kind of heated up for the lead. I mean, Clayton and Brandon's actually a 10th faster last time than Clayton Hoffman. Can he actually get this pass completed? I'll tell you what, I think Brandon has got something here tonight. He seems like he's got some really good speed. Of course, really early in the race, though, to see if he's going to be able to have something. Because, I mean, you got to keep in mind, this track is going to be way different at the end of this race.
Yeah, apologize. I was definitely misreading my notes. I actually thought this stage ended on lap 70, but it actually ends on lap 75.
Yeah, so just a few extra laps these guys are going to have to complete. Of course, just to update, Patrick Gitter has gotten by Jeremy Sumter. Now Sumter starting to fall back into Josh Schaffner's territory. Now, I do want to mention, I talked about the Iceman a little bit earlier, how I thought he was going to fit in to this race for the win at some point tonight. And I think he is. Last time by, 30.896. He was the fastest car on the racetrack. Josh Schaffner seems like he has got the long run nailed.
He's out on the racetrack.
Is out early.
So I was not wrong?
And it looks like the yellow flag is out on the racetrack, which is quite curious. I thought, did we have an accident, or is this a scheduled stop? And it looks like I have, and it looks like I was actually the one that was mistaken. So, Big Al, I apologize. You were actually correct. It was lap 70. So,
all right. Well, good.
I can be wrong. Clayton Hoffman, though, able to hold off Brandon Pasalacqua. He wins stage number 2. Brandon Pasalacqua for second place. Patrick Gitter third. Jeremy Sumter holds on to 4th. Josh Schaffner 5th. Randy Mullins in 6th, Tim Wortman Jr. 7th, Greg Carr 8th, Greg Wachinski in 9th, Paul Hill in 10th. With that, we'll take a brief step away. We'll come back and we'll talk to Big Al's choice.
Hi, my name is Brian Pasalacqua, driver for Paradigm Motorsports in the number 6 OB Builders and Ram Welding and Fabrication Chevy Camaro. I want to say thank you to our men and women in the armed forces, those that have served or currently serving, that protect us from all threats, those foreign and domestic. I've been part of ISCA now for about 2 years. I was the 2023 regular season champion and Final Four driver. I choose to participate in ISCA because of the long green flag runs, respectful racing, and high level of competition. If those are things that interest you, come check us out and join in on the fun.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the ISCA Super Cup Series. Of course, we're going to be joined now with our Stage 2 winner, Clayton Hoffman. Big Al standing by.
Hey, Clayton, Big Al up in the booth. Congratulations on your Stage 2 win.
Yeah, it was a great battle, you know. I think this race is going to play out to be really, really interesting. I think the track's going to come to my car more than some other people's cars. But yeah, saved tire at the beginning of the stage, fell back a little bit, battled back up, got around a couple guys let me go that were not ready to, use their tires yet, and I was able to make the most of it. Had a good battle there with Brandon. I think if he kept working me, he had a really good shot of passing me, but I was just able to, maintain the outsides a little bit faster at that, middle to a little bit past the middle of a full fuel run. So
how you feeling about this long, not this run, but the long run coming up? Do you think your car is going to be in your hands by that point in the race?
The way it looks like it's leaning to, I think I'll be pretty good, hopefully. We'll see. I think I'll still have to make some adjustments. I don't think we're going to get a full 60-lap run-in, if I'm looking at the laps correctly. I think we're going to need a caution, because I think that last stage is 125. So, yeah, that's 62.5. So, yeah, we'll have probably a long race in there.
Well, hey, anybody want to shout out here for your Stage 2 win before you get back at it?
Just shout out the Nitro Racing team. Hopefully, like I said, the track comes to me and I'm fast here this last stage, or last two stages.
All right, good luck to you, boss. We'll let you get back at it.
Thank you.
All right, that was Clayton Hoffman, driver of the 92 machine. Of course, was able to win stage number 2. He's getting ready to take us back to green flag racing as the pace car has dipped down pit road. And we entered the Geico restart zone momentarily. We had a little bit of a change up in the top 5. Schaffner's up to 3rd. And there's the green flag. The 6 of Pasalacqua not really getting going there from that 2nd place position. Very easy to make a mistake there on the outside pole. And it looks like Schaffner is handed the gift of 2nd place.
All right, so Clayton's probably not going to stay out front. I think he's already kind of showed us what his hand is. Got a little bit of a wiggle there.
That was Jeremy Sumter. Sumter just jumped down all the way down to the apron, I think, to get past the 6 of Brandon Pasalacqua. That was a pretty interesting tactic. They reminded me a lot of what we saw early in the Darlington race a couple weeks ago with Chris Buescher shooting down to the apron. So it worked out.
Yeah.
Sumter's up to 3rd.
Well, my buddy Greg, man, he was actually come out of the pits like he was really settled in 7th. Got a little bit of a wiggle, maybe kind of now stepping back a little bit. Gitter's also back here, so I think these guys are going to take a page out of Hoffman's playbook here and just kind of conserve and save, and then you'll know really when it's go time.
Yeah, kind of shocking to see Gitter falling all the way back to 11th place, and I got to be honest, I think I know why. I think Gitter fixed some damage. Gitter spent 26 seconds in his box, Big Al, and he did hit the wall during that last stage, so that makes a lot of sense. I think he was trying to get the dents banged out of that race car.
Yeah, a lot of guys have been kind of receiving their stars and stripes, I guess you'd say, running into this track, man. It's one of those things, and it's not as prevalent as a Darlington stripe, but it definitely happens quite a bit here.
I think it hurts worse than a Darlington stripe because, this place is a little bit faster than Darlington, and in that area where you hit that wall at, most of the time here, it's kind of jutted out at an angle, so it can hurt that race car a lot more, I'd say, than what you see at Darlington, of course, as Clayton Hoffman is in control. Josh Schaffner, he's up as high as now 2nd place, and I got to be honest, Big Al, I was talking about it before that last caution, and Josh seems to be one of the best on the long run. I got to say, either Josh or Pasalacqua seem to be the best cars on the long run. I think Clayton even acknowledged that fact a little bit there in that interview.
Well, yeah, that's awesome, but it's still early in this stage, and I don't think Clayton is going to go out there and just stay out front for as long. I think he is going to kind of back off a little bit. I don't see him wanting to go back any further than say third or fourth, but I just don't see him wanting to stay out front the whole time either.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious to see how this all plays out. Of course, Randy Mullins getting by Jeremy Sumter here.
Here
So that
comes
puts Sumter back to 5th.
Here comes the Pasalakwa, the Paradigm's teammate, the Josh Shockner.
Yeah, Pasalaka, of course, probably wanting to resume that battle with Clayton Hoffman. They had a very awesome battle there right before the stage break concluded. Of course, this stage will be going, I do believe, to 125. Hopefully, check behind me, Big Al, because I've apparently been known to be wrong here tonight.
Well, that's what I got written down.
So 125 to 126 is when we will see the caution flag come back out, of course, to conclude stage number 3. And then we get the long one going. And I love to hear Clayton kind of strategizing about that long stage towards the end of this race. Of course, that stage...
He said a caution, though. He said they would need a caution. He didn't sound like he was, like, doting on the fact that they were going to have green flag pit stops. You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, so I don't know. Clayton, what's really going on, buddy?
Well, the thing about it is here at Charlotte, you see those water barrels. I think these cameras we're seeing on the track are showing the water barrels, and those water barrels are incredibly easy to hit, Big Al.
I've hit those water barrels. Road. I've hit those water barrels more than one time.
Oh, I've hit them a bunch. It's real easy to hit them. I mean, it's so easy to hit them.
I think they got magnets in there. It's almost as bad as I believe that's Dover. But those two tracks to get down the pit road, it's just almost like they got like magnets.
Well, it's one thing is when you get the tire wear. Once the tires start to really wear and you try to jump down there on pit road, the handling kind of can be gone from the race car and very easy to hit the water barrels. We have had a change for the lead. Brandon Pasalaka, what a pass for the lead. He just shot down underneath Clayton Hoffman and pulled, I guess you'd call that a slide job. It worked, I'll tell you that. He's up in the lead.
Yeah, good on him, man. But I think he probably had a little bit of assistance with that, just taking a garner. But I'm just I want to get through this stage. This stage is important. We still haven't hit our cautions yet. We had a lot of wiggles, some big wiggles, but I still think we are in contention. I'm just hoping that we can have green flag pit stops, man. We need those,
that's what I want.
Especially at this track.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is going to be a race. I think everybody's going to want to see some sort of strategy kind of unfold. And the ISCA has always been known for those strategies unfolding. I mean, other series, other leagues, and I'm not bad-mouthing any other leagues, but I just feel like other leagues are not known for green flag racing like the ISCA is. I mean, we can have 30-plus cars and still have green flag pit stops, which is something that you don't see in a lot of other series. Of course, this is only 25 cars here tonight in the Coke or the ISCA 375, or Paradigm 375, I should say. No, Coca-Cola, please don't sue me. But, I mean, these guys are known for green flags, so I think we'll see a green flag stop, Big Al.
I hope so, man. That's the one thing I think that's going to keep the fans here that late in the evening. They're going to be here. They're going to be on their feet for two things. They're going to see an exciting finish, and they're going to stick around for the probability of those green flag pit stops, because that's the most exciting part of the race to me, is seeing these guys actually able to completely execute their strategies, Brian, and basically put all those pieces together and string up a successful or not successful one.
We have some successful racing going on right now. Jeremy Sumter now side by side with the 54. I hate to keep talking about Sumter, but they are close right now. As you can see, Jeremy side drafting the 54 of Randy Mullins at the moment. And these guys are racing hard right now.
We promised them a pump it up before it got too late, man. And I think we're encroaching on that hour of darkness. So, hey, bartender, you think you can go ahead and pump it up for us there, Kobe? I don't know how much time we're going to need to get this set up for you, ladies and gentlemen. Crank it up. Yeah, Bender's got to repair his required flag.
Oh yeah, he had something happen. Let's find out what happened. We don't
Yeah, he
come back.
was in the accident. Yeah, let's bring it back.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we just had our Pump It Up segment there. Very loud race cars. You got to love that for sure. Of course, we saw Tim Wortman Jr. Get past Jeremy Sumter there for third place. Looks like that has changed hands. But we're looking and we're trying to figure out exactly what happened to the 23 of John Bender. Of course, we always have loved that sun drop machine, and it looks like he is missing that front bumper. I think we might have found the replay. Let's see if we can find out exactly what happened. We're just going to go ahead and go back into DVR and see if we can find out.
I don't know what he
happened
did.
Here we go.
I don't know what he did, but he ain't going to do it again.
Oh, I think that's the end of his. Oh, wow.
Well,
this has to be.
That had to be
some sort of
computer glitch, man, because his car looked like it started dragging. You see the smoke there.
I think, did he have possibly his wheel disconnect? That sometimes.
No, he just got loose and then it hooked on him. Wow.
It looks like he just, that didn't look like a loose condition until we really looked at it. But yeah, that is, and that has completely decimated that race car. I don't think he's going to be making his way back onto the racetrack after that.
Yeah, that looks more like drops of Jupiter.
Look at that. Just a hard hit. Somebody needs to go check on him and make sure he's okay, because that was a hard hit.
Hey,
Brandon Pasalacqua, though. What's that?
Can we talk to him while he's
let's see if we can talk to him. I think that's a great idea, Big Al. Let's see if we can grab him up.
Have ourselves one of those Carolina boy chats.
All right, we got him up here in the booth. John Bender, we got you up here in the booth. Hopefully you don't mind us grabbing you. What happened there, man? Big hit for you. John, do you read us? Yeah, looks like you're not here with us at the moment.
Yeah, he
That's
might have
unfortunate. We tried to talk to him, but it looks like he might have stepped away after that big hit. He might be in the infield care center, so that was a big hit for him.
Definitely was a big hit. We're hoping that he's okay though.
We're gonna send somebody down to check up on him as we're getting closer to lap 100. I do see Greg Carr trying to, I do believe, battle with Patrick Gitter. See Greg sends it in underneath the 21. Oh, he comes up a little bit. They almost touch out of turn number 4. As Nick King kind of watching this battle happen as Nick's going to get, I do believe, attacked by Patrick Gitter here. And there goes Greg Carr. He's going to try to see if he can make the top work, as this is the battle, I do believe, for the 8th place position. But of course, Brandon Pasalacqua right now in control as we I do believe are coming up closer to 25 laps left in stage number 3.
Those Paradigm guys definitely having a pretty good, solid showing, man. Randy Mullins right now, he's trucking back in 6th with his Paradigm partner Josh Schaffner right there in 5th place. So these guys definitely have to be feeling pretty good about their efforts and how much time they put in getting ready to come here and run this thing. And speaking of which, Brian, I think the lights are coming on.
Yeah, and it's about that time. You can clearly see sunset is very much in effect at the moment. And that is going to see, I think we'll see a drastic change in the handling of these race cars. I mean, Clayton said that he thinks his car is going to handle better as the night air kind of progresses. Look at that, Randy Mullen getting really loose off the corner. That's one thing that's going to happen as the change in the track happens, Big Al. And we'll see these guys get looser.
Yep, absolutely. Those cars, but they're going to get faster too, though, because loose is fast.
It is, but loose also means spinning out sometimes.
Well, that'll work out for your 2 caution prediction there on the over-under.
Well, we might all be wrong, Big Al. I got to be honest, we could all very well be wrong.
Man, it would be awesome if they run this thing all the way, flag to flag to flag. That would be great.
Yeah, I mean, 375 miles without any stops. They did not stop for any P breaks. That's going to be a tough one. Tim Wortman Jr., though, under fire from Josh Schaffner. Of course, that's the battle for 4th place. Looks like Wortman is going to possibly take that position, but I don't know, though. Schaffner holding strong on the bottom, and this is going to bring Randy Mullins into the battle. I tell you, Patrick Gitter, we talked about him. He dropped down pit road, took a little bit of I'd say a respite, trying to get some damage repaired on the 21 machine. He is now back up into 7th. And he is not looking like he's slow at all. I think that damage is fully repaired because he is running down the rest of these guys up front.
Awesomeness.
Yeah, definitely great to see 21.
And, Gitter has tremendous speed. He is now officially a part of that 7-car breakaway. The 25 car, great car, that's actually going to start the rest of the pack back there. And here we are, we got 21 laps left in this stage before it's done. That's about go time. That's about the time that we did start to see those actual packs start to break up. Brian, I'm starting to wonder, once we get into that long run, what's the probability of us even having lap traffic?
I mean, in the last stage, I think it's going to be something we'll see. But, I mean, I don't know if we're going to see it in this stage. But I think in that...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Stage, we'll probably see it. Especially if we have green flag stops. I think that's going to be, we got some battling going on as Patrick Gitter trying to weave his way through the field. He gets past the 83. It looks like Tim Wortman Jr. a little bit loose. And now the 21 side by side, door to door with the 54 of Randy Mullins. And now Patrick Gitter's back up in the top 5. Don't ever count out the 21.
Yeah, I mean, he's almost playing with his food still.
We also have a battle further back. Nick King and Paul Hill battling for 9th place at the moment. And, of course, those guys are side by side. Well, they were just for a second. Of course, you see Brian Johnson right there behind him. And, of course, one thing that is kind of surprising to me, I think the other Paradigm drivers are looking phenomenal at the moment. Oh, we do see some battling. Greg Wachinski and Alexander Carr, I think, might have just had some contact. I'm not sure. They are door-to-door, side-by-side, battling, I do believe, for 12th at the moment.
Yeah. Wachinski had been hanging out in the 13th spot ever since he fell back from 7th. So I think now he's probably got his feet underneath him. He's be trying to charge back up towards the front because, I mean, it's those points, man.
We might need to look at 2nd right now because Jeremy Sumter and Clayton Hoffman are side by side. Woo, they are battling right now. This is getting a little bit crazy here and a little bit of a contact with the wall there from Clayton Hoffman as these guys are getting serious. These guys are battling. This is what we come here for.
I think Clayton was just kind of trying to sit back and take it easy. I don't think he really was anticipating that to have the pressure applied to him from Mr. Sumter, but he is definitely going to have to. He's going to have to take aim on this because if he looks just right back over his shoulder, man, here comes not only Schaffner, but he's bringing Gitter right behind him.
Yeah, no, 100%. But I think Sumter also learned a valuable lesson in that last stage, to where he drove away, and I don't think he's planning on doing that this time. I think this is why he's a lot more competitive right now and able to kind of fight with the 92. But I guarantee you, who's loving to see that is the 6 of Pasalacqua. He probably wants, like, 52. Sumter, keep attacking Clayton. Please keep fighting with him, because that way I don't have to deal with him, right? I mean, but I don't think that's going to be the case, because I definitely think Clayton has got his eyes set on the 6 of Brandon Pasalacqua. But so glad to have Clayton regularly competing back in this series. He was always a awesome driver to watch race, and just very, very talented. We're so glad to have him back, that's for sure. And it just adds another layer, I'd say, to the competition here in the ISCA. A little bit of a wiggle there for Clayton, though. You could tell that the cars are starting to handle a little bit differently than they were earlier in the show.
Amen. Just what Clayton said, they were going to come right to him. And he said hopefully his car was going to come to him more effectively and better than it was some other driver. So we'll see as he gets a little loose right there.
A little loose and tags the wall. And that's going to give Jeremy Sumter second place.
Yeah.
Well, if his car earlier, he was saying that it might come to him. I don't know how much is going to come to him if he hits the wall. He might be just like Patrick Gitter and has to come down and get a little bit of damage repair, because that's the same place that Gitter hit the wall.
Yeah, that wall kind of reaches out and grabs you. Hoffman probably not feeling as comfortable right now as he might have wanted to be, getting a lot of pressure from him. Now he's got Patrick Gitter. He's right up on his rear end. And I'm going to tell you right there, that's a tush push if I ever seen one.
You do not want to have Patrick Gitter on your rear end. Of course, he is the reigning champion of the ISCA Super Cup Series. So this guy knows how to get it done on the racetrack. You can see Josh Schaffner trying to follow the 21 around the 92 on the top side. And I got to say, once again, I think Schaffner is going to be a factor in this race. He seems to be one of the best drivers on the long run so far. Yeah, man, all the Paradigm guys seem so good tonight.
Hey, Bender was actually stepped away, so I think we could actually pull him up real quick if you want. We are just encroaching upon 10 laps to go here in this stage, so your call.
Well, we could talk to him right quick. I don't see him anymore, though. I think he did step out of the Discord. I don't think he's in here anymore. But unfortunate we weren't able to talk to him. Hopefully next time we'll get a chat with him. I don't think we've really had him up in the booth a lot here. But definitely a good point. We're coming up to now 10 laps to go. Brandon Pasalacqua so far in the lead, but Jeremy Sumter has started to catch the 6 machine. We also have side-by-side battling still with Patrick Gitter and Clayton Hoffman. Even though Clayton touched the wall, he has not really relinquished that third spot. He does not want to give it up, and he's battling back on the inside. He's going to slide up in front of the 21. Not able to slide up. The 21 occupies that spot.
So what you got going on here is you got to tell of two cities. One, Hoffman probably reeling from the contact that he had with the wall. No doubt that's affected him. Gitter had to come from way back, so his tires aren't as fresh and ginger as they were maybe when he was up front the whole time and hanging out. He has been battling to get back up here.
That's a good point. That is a really good point, Big Al. I mean, he has been. I think he fought back from like 13th or so. So he did have to pass a lot of cars, and that probably did have do a number on his tires. And just the fact that he's able to be as competitive as he is shows that he brought a really fast race car here tonight. As we see, the top 5 have pulled away from now 7th to Tim Wortman Jr. I'm really impressed with Wortman's speed, but I think he needs to maybe take the tires a little bit take it a little bit easier on those tires. You can see he's fallen back about a 1.92 seconds back from 6th place. But man, we got to take our hats off for the 83 though, because I mean, considering he started in 17th, saw a little contact with the wall there from Jeremy Sumter. I'm telling you, by the end of this race, it seems like everybody's going to have hit the wall.
I got a question. I mean, as we're wrapping up stage 3 here, at this point, it seems like you and your horse, you might know each other a little better. You kind of figure each other's habits out. Man, what's going on with eighth back? I mean, fill me in, man.
I got to be honest, I just don't think their cars are handling or as good as they probably were hoping they were. I think a lot of these guys had short run pace, but they just don't seem to have the longevity. And this is a track that you really have to know what you're doing. I mean, this is a lot of people are like, oh, it's just Charlotte. It's an easy track. But really, Charlotte is not an easy track when you have these stronger race cars. You see some contact there. Mark Sanchez and Nick King.
Yeah.
What I mean is this track, you have to be smooth. You have to be smooth. If you're not being smooth on the wheel on this racetrack.
Oh, the 10 of Blair
Blair
Holloman into the wall. Blair's having he just spent time on pit road getting his car repaired. Guess he's going to have another matching pit stop like that. Come on, Blair.
Yeah.
The Army keeps rolling along. We'll figure it out.
That's a good point. I like that. That's pretty good. He is rocking the Blair, the Army. And you know what's so terrible is that Blair qualified up in the top 3. Probably his best qualifying effort we've ever seen from the 10.
Well, don't put him out the pasture just yet. We still got a lot of races left to go, man. And that 10 car is right back there at 14th. He's pulling up on his bootstraps. He's trying to get back up there in the top 10.
That damage, that hit on the wall might have made him faster.
Yeah, sometimes it's just like that.
I mean, it has happened before. I mean, that's for sure.
Yeah, Mark Sanchez, definitely, he is probably starting to feel that dread as well. Because here's the deal, man. If you spent 3 stages out there tonight and you come home and you didn't get any points, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, we done gave you 3 opportunities to get a top 10 finish here, guys. You had all week to get ready. This is not just a race that came up on the calendar, right?
No, this is definitely one that these guys, I think, have had circled for quite a while.
I was out there exercising. I was doing jaw stretches, and I was like, what are you doing? Like, we got Charlotte in line back here.
The wife was like, what are you doing? They was about to probably put
Charlotte
padded sail. A battle, though, right now for second place on your screens. Of course, Clayton Hoffman and Jeremy Sumter going after it as we are coming now to the white flag. And I do believe the white flag is getting ready to be out. Brandon Pasalacqua about 0.4 to a half a second out front currently.
And how special is that going to be if through 3 stages, 3 different winners?
Yeah. No, you're 100%. What if it's a different winner that wins the race?
Oh, that's not even. That's a hat trick plus 1.
That would be really cool to see for sure. As we see Sumter is side drafting the 92 quite a lot here to try to get that position. He might be successful. He might not be. This is a battle.
Oh,
Clayton into the outside wall, and that's going to give Sumter second place.
That horse done bucked
Brandon
him one too many
Pasalacqua.
times.
And
We're just
Pasalacqua is
halfway.
going to win.
That also puts us right at the halfway point here. Brandon Pasalacqua, your stage 3 winner. That puts Mr. Sumter in 3rd. Patrick Gitter is going to be in 4th. Clayton Hoffman 5th. Josh Schochner 6th. Josh Schochner 5th. Randy Mullins 6th. Tim Wortman Jr. is going to be in 7th. 8th is Patrick Hill. 9th is Greg Wachinski. And rounding out the top 10 is going to be Greg Carr. With that done, stage 3 of the books, let's take a step away real quick, get a word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back with whoever Brian wants to talk to.
Hi, my name is Brian Pasalacqua, driver for Paradigm Motorsports and the number 6, OB Builders, and Ram Welding and Fabrication, Chevy Camaro. I want to say thank you to our men and women in the armed forces, those that have served or currently serving, that protect us from all threats, those foreign and domestic. I've been part of ISCA now for about 2 years. I was the 2023 regular season champion and Final Four driver. I choose to participate in ISCA because of the long green flag runs, respectful racing, and high level of competition. If those are things that interest you, come check us out and join in on the fun.
You went, you served, and forged the relationships that only being baptized in the fire of combat can develop. At FallenVeteran.com, we understand the unique bond that veterans share. That's why we've created a platform where you can connect, share experiences, and build lifelong friendships with fellow veterans. Signing up is easy. Simply visit www.fall-in-veteran.com and create your profile. Customize it to reflect your military service, interests, and hobbies. FallenVeteran.com is more than just an online community. It's a support network where you can find resources, advice, and encouragement from those who understand what you've been through. Whether you're looking for camaraderie, mentorship, or simply a place to share your stories, FallenVeteran.com has it all. Join thousands of veterans who have already found their tribe and start connecting today. FallenVeteran.com. Come join us and experience the power of community. Sign up now at www.fall-in-veteran.com.
Welcome back to the ISCA Super Cup Series. We're going to be talking to our Stage 3 winner. Usually the Stage 3 winner is the winner actual of the race, but that's not the case here tonight. Brandon, what a great race for you. You seem like you have a very good race car here tonight on the long run. What are you thinking? What are you worried about? Has the track been changing a lot?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I just want to start off and say shout out to Paradigm Motorsports that we're sponsoring the race today. Hopefully that gets more people to help out with the league because Kenny does such a great job. But yeah, this track changes and the balance of track position and tire wear is so hard and delicate. So, the first few stages, you kind of had to just give it all you got and get as much points as you could in the stages. Now that we have a 120 lap run, it's probably going to settle down. You'll see the pace back down and just try to make the best 62 lap pace we can make.
All right. Well, looks like the pace car lights are going off here, getting ready for a long run. I know we didn't get to talk to you for very long. And we actually, what's really funny is the commercial we're playing for Paradigm has been you.
Perfect.
During this stage, so it's kind of interesting. Probably everybody's like, "Oh, I recognize that voice." But yeah, great job to you, Brandon. Who can we shout out?
Yeah, well, the people will say it's the league's fixed with that coincidence. But yeah, shout out to Paradigm Motorsports. You guys up in the booth, you do a phenomenal job. The drivers for such a great race so far. Hopefully we can keep it clean and put on a good show for you guys.
All right, Brandon. Good luck.
Thank you.
All righty, that was Brandon Pastelacqua. If you thought your hearing was messing up or you were having auditory hallucinations, yes, you heard the same person twice. Definitely glad to have Brandon up in the booth. I know he's actually called one with us once, and it was really fun to have him for sure. He's definitely got a good personality, very talented driver as well. As the pace car is getting ready to go down, we're getting ready to start stage number 4, 120 lap or 25 lap run. We could see green flag stops. I'm hoping we do. Into the Geico restart zone we go, and green flag is back out in the air. And Patrick Gitter up to the gears. Now Brandon said that they were gonna back the pace down, probably because we're gonna have a long run. Do you think that's gonna happen, Big Al?
Absolutely. I don't think you don't have any choice at this point, because what you got to do is you got to figure out everybody's strategy is going to be, when do we come in and pit? Because you're going to have to pit. So 65 laps, I believe, is the fuel run. And you can split this thing almost 62 and a half laps to each segment. So gives the drivers a little bit of wiggle room, gives the teams a chance to actually use strategy. I'll let Ralph go. He's got a hot dog and he's over there making out with Thelma Sue. So, I mean, there's not going to be a caution. It's not going to be a caution. I told him.
Well, I'll tell you what, Clayton Hoffman, I do want to mention him. He is now back in, I do believe, outside of the top 15. He had to get major repairs on that race car. You can see he's way back there. This is going to be tough for him to battle back through the pack. What do you think? Do you think he's going to be able to do it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's probably in the best spot for him to be in right now, because now it's going to give Clayton. It's going to put that fight in that dog. You know what I mean? Because instead of him being up front, being able to just kind of casually take it easy, he's going to have to come out here and put some Clayton on it. You know?
Yeah, he's going to definitely have to try to work his way through the field and probably try to see if he can save his tires while actually getting through and
Yeah.
passing people at the same time. And that's going to be tough. That's a challenge. And Clayton usually, really loves challenges. I'll tell
Hey,
you what,
we're
one driver
doing
that has really rose to the challenge, Greg Wychinski. He's up in 7th.
absolutely. But look here, Brian. We're doing big boy stuff tonight. You understand that? So that's why we're here. Big boy stuff happening right now. These drivers
100%.
toughing it out, staying in the car, staying focused. You know what I mean? And the sun is set. They're perspiring. They're tired. They got the look at yeah. Anyway, we still got 117 laps to go.
Yeah, still a long way to go here. We're over halfway here in the ISCA Super Cup Series Paradigm 375. And Brandon Pasalacqua out front. Now, wouldn't it be something to see the Paradigm boys get a win in the race that is named after their team? Then there will probably be some accusations of them fixing this race.
Well, I don't think they stepped up to sponsor this thing if they didn't expect to at least see themselves in victory circle, on a sponsored race. So definitely they're going to step up. They're going to rise to the challenge. The question is 5 races. How many of the Paradigm guys are actually going to be able to get a part of the purse?
Yeah, I mean, you got Randy Mullins. Of course, he's sitting in 3rd place right now. Josh Schaffner is in 5th. Brian Johnson, he's about as high as I do believe he's been all night. He's in 8th place right now. And I got to be honest, I was talking about Brian earlier in the race, and I really thought he was going to be more in the top 5, but it just seems like he's struggling a little bit, and maybe he's got the handling dialed in now. Maybe a lot of times Brian has his car set up for later in the race, so I would not be surprised if that's exactly what's going on with Johnson at the moment. We see Randy Drumhiller battling, I do believe, with Kenny Powell. We just saw that on our screens. But Brandon Pasalacqua right now leading this train, as it looks like, Powell almost able to get the pass completed there on Drumhiller.
Yeah, man, watching these guys in Schaffner, Tim Wortman Jr., Brian Johnson, these guys have all been in the 26 of the 26 is
Paul Hill.
The 25 of Greg Carr. These guys have all been dancing, Brian, to the same song, the same speed the whole time. Well, they're still out there doing it, and this is going to be where the heart of this battle is going to be. Because if you're looking at this,
man, Blair Holloman just almost turned to 25 of Greg Carr. You could tell we saw Blair earlier. He smacked the wall a couple times. He went outside of the top 15. Now he's up in 10th right now. He's on his way back to the front. And I think he's willing to do anything to get up there. As we're almost 3 wide there with Carr. But Paul Hill trying to hold off Greg Wychinski as well. They are battling all over this racetrack right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is where the meat and the potatoes of the race is going to happen at, right here. Because this is all top 10, and these guys have been buzzing around the same pace all day. So even look for this to be a point of contention, even down to green flag pit stops, if they should happen. But if it's going to be a caution, if anything's going to happen, it's going to be somewhere about here in this guy.
No, I agree. If we're going to see a caution, it's probably going to be very soon. Because, this is where all these guys are really, I think, heated. The tires, everything gets hotter when the sun goes down. The cars are probably as grippy as they've been all night long. And everybody's wanting to try to get as many positions as they can. We're watching right now the 26 of Paul Hill. He's just trying to hold on to 7th place. You see Brian Johnson in the middle of this pack. 3 wide right there. Blair Holloman in the middle, 3 wide. And what a move from J.C. Evans, able to thread the needle there.
Yeah, but do you really want to be threading the needle with this much racing left? You got over 100 laps to go, Brian. So is this what we really want to be doing right now? That's all I'm asking.
I'm fine with it.
I know, yeah. I'm just saying. But if I'm a team owner for the fans, this is all in. But if I got skin in the game, I'm kind of like, hey, man, maybe you want to back off a little bit.
Yeah, no, I understand. I agree totally. As Nick King, highest running order he's been all night, up to 4th place right now is the 3. Gotta love that.
Remember too,
he always got the Dale Earnhardt throwbacks. Really love that.
But remember too, some of these guys that you're seeing up front, man, that some guys aren't pushing as hard right now. I mean, they're just because you're gonna have the longest run that you're gonna have to make of the night. You got to stay out for a tank of gas on this thing. 62.5 laps. I don't know if you've probably been able to find a 62-point lap run, in the series.
Not
Cost
at
you
A
3
Open.
this week.
It ain't happening very much in the A Opens, I tell you. But in the Coke 600 races in the NIS, I bet it has happened.
Yeah, well, the NIS maybe. But these guys, I don't know how many of them even run in the Coke Series. All I'm saying is, running a tank of gas out of this car here tonight, that's no small task, man.
Well, if I said the Coke Series, I didn't mean to say. I meant the NIS, like the NIS 600 mile race that is in the officials. Now, I do have it on pretty good authority. Jeremy Sumter did last night's NIS 600 mile race and actually won it. So he knows how to get around this track on the long runs. We'll have to see if that's going to be. But I'm sure other drivers have done. I'm sure Patrick Gitter's probably participated in them. Of course, I do want to mention Clayton Hoffman. He is back up into 14th right now. Just got by, I do believe, Josh Schaffner, which Schaffner, I'm shocked to see, is back in 16th. What is going on? He was just up in the top 5.
It's pretty racy up there. I don't know what else to tell you.
I think it might have something to do with what you mentioned before, Big Al, about some guys are not driving that hard because they know that later in this run, it's gonna hurt you to drive hard.
I mean, you understand what I'm saying? You got to run 62.5 laps on these tires. There's the problem that's probably gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, if it
you
stays
have to
green,
plan for
sure.
it.
If it stays green, I'll tell you, Clayton Hoffman right now, fastest car on the track. He's now up into 9th. As we see, I do believe Nick King's starting to fall back as he is now
3
under
wide
fire from Randy Mullins. 3 wide.
Brian Johnson, man, his car is definitely not his friend right now. That horse is running wild on him.
And that's
hopefully
really
keep it dialed
shocking.
in.
I got to be honest, that's shocking.
Kenny Powell gets the big wobbles, actually causes Blair Holloman to have some incidental contact with him. I'm just waiting, Brian. I'm sitting on the edge of my seat. I mean, these guys are tired. They've been in the chutes for a while, and you know how it is. You get that tunnel vision, that grind, but then as soon as you let your guard down, that dude's right there in your blind spot. That'll wake you up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to think as well. These guys have been, we haven't had a caution based on an accident. Of course, we did have some stage breaks to give these guys a little bit of a breathing room, or a little bit of a breathing, resting time, I guess you could say. But there hasn't been a whole lot of rest tonight. I mean, it's been kind of just go all race long. And, and this is not the time to be losing focus. And I think a lot of these drivers might be starting to lose focus. But, of course, Brandon Pasalaco right now has been in domination mode. He is in control of the race. Tim Wortman Jr., though, he's at a race high 2nd place. Jeremy Sumter just made a big pass on Randy Mullins. He's now up to 3rd. And, of course, Nick King.
Oh, there goes the 3. Sorry about that. 21 just came across the nose of the 3. 3 got a little bit swirly, but he kept it going. I mean, he has been pedaling that thing the majority of the night here, Brian. Didn't mean to cut you off.
He's looking like a dirt racer, isn't he? I mean, he's got Majulis Say on that race car, and that is a dirt setup shop. So it's interesting to know that he's kind of, I guess, known for dirt racing. And
that is funny.
That be known.
So, I mean, Greg Wojcinski should definitely put a lawn service sponsorship on his car today because he's been cutting a lot of grass too.
Yeah. Here we go, though. Tim Wortman Jr. attacking for the lead possibly here, as he's going to try to move up to the top side to see if he can get a run and challenge. This could be some of the first laps that Wortman has led this season. I don't know if I can't recall a time when he's led. J.C. Evans just took a big – you were just talking about cutting the grass. J.C. just cut the whole yard. He just took a big ride through the infield. I wonder how much we're going to have to charge him to cut that grass. Let's see. We see it right here on the exit, turn 4.
We're on the contract with Wojcinski.
Yeah. Well, we ought to give Denine a little tip or something, the $5 or something, because he just definitely, he almost did a little Dukes of Hazzard thing there too. He jumped up in the air. That's one thing about that infield is this is not flat, Big Al. It will send you up in the air if you're not careful.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., I believe, was took a tumble with that. Wasn't that at Charlotte? I was.
We see, of course, Greg Wyszynski getting really loose as he was up there battling for the top 5. He is now falling back to 9th as the battle for the lead is heating up. Brandon Pasalacqua, of course, was passed by Wortman. Now Wortman falls back to 3rd, and here comes Sumter.
Man, you know Sumter's definitely going to put his car up there, and he's going to try to keep it up there. He believes his car is a front runner, and he believes he's a front runner also. So you're going to be hard-pressed to keep that guy from trying to put that car in the P1 position. And he's going to stay out there as long as he can. The thing about it for Brandon Pasalacqua is Brandon knows his car is fast. He's done the long runs, and he's just like, man, do I just let this guy go?
Randy Mullins just fell all the way back to 22nd. What has happened to the 54? He is having technical issues, and he's back again. So it seems like we're seeing Randy Mullins is having technical woes here tonight. That is unfortunate because you got to keep in mind, Big Al, he's 6th place in the points. He does not need a race like this to go wrong with technical errors. Jeremy Sumter, though, right now out front. Brandon Pasalacqua, of course, sits in 2nd place. Tim Wortman Jr. sits in 3rd. Patrick Gitter has worked his way up to 4th. Clayton Hoffman, after restarting, I do believe, outside of the top 15, is up to 5th now. Nick King is in 6th. Paul Hill is in 7th. Greg Wyszynski's 8th. Matthew Cisna 9th. And Greg Carr in 10th. Wow, I'll tell you, these guys shook up the top 10.
But look at where Clayton's at, though.
That's what I'm saying, 5th.
Now, there's still a huge gap between the leader and 4th place.
Yeah, no, you're right. Patrick Gitter has about 1.8 seconds to get up to Tim Wortman Jr. And one thing I find incredibly interesting, Big Al, is that at the beginning of this race, the 2 drivers that were battling, Patrick Gitter and Clayton Hoffman, those were the guys I would have bet money on, I'd say, on who was going to be in contention at the end of this thing. But other drivers have started to kind of come to the front of the field that are not those guys.
I don't know, man. I don't think you start crowning those guys just yet. I think the other guys are sticking to their plans. We've seen this happen before, Brian. We've seen this happen how many times? We've seen guys come all the way from the back of this thing and march all the way to the front. So you just got to keep that in mind. It's all about the guys that are conserving the most because they're going to have the easiest run of the 62 and a half. You know what I mean? If you go out there and you burn it up quick, it's going to make those last 30 laps miserable.
And speaking of which, there is one driver that was saving quite a bit. He fell all the way to the rear of the field, I do believe, back to outside of the top 15. Josh Schaffner, he's now back up in 9th right now. So he has definitely done a great job working his way back up in through the field. Of course, he's got about 4 seconds to get up to Jeremy Sumter, our leader. But still, I do agree. I think if you are... big hit on the wall from Wyszynski. That was not a small hit. I do believe the right side of that race car is going to be very damaged. Did you see that?
Well, it's not that
was quite a
damaged.
hit.
He can still run. Suck it up, Greg. You'll be all right. Because he's not going to be the last one, man. They're halfway through the run on this tank of gas right now. And so whether you prepared for it or not, you still got to make it the rest of the way because you can't short pit this. You've got the 54s on pit road right now. But you have got to get to the end of the tank of gas.
And I do believe that is going to be the end of the day for Randy Mullins. Of course, we were just talking about how he was having technical issues. I think we might have a replay that we're going to see exactly what happened. You can see very, very loose right here. and bam,
Yeah, those
big
technical
hit.
issues, all right.
And
Those
well,
kind of
of
technical
course,
issues I have.
this is a different kind of technical issue. But I mean, clearly he was having some internet or hardware, some sort of issues. But this is just something to where I think he just wrecked his race car. Very loose on the exit. You can see right there, just sideways, hits the apron, whoop,
He
bam,
is
right there
not
into the
going
wall.
to be the last. I'm telling you, this is that part right now where guys might have pushed it a little bit too hard. But here's the cool thing: they get to learn from this because hopefully they don't go out and do the same thing again in the next stage. You know, because we got 2 cautions that are sitting there that are free right now. You know,
I don't know if we're
just
going to
wait.
use them. I don't
Yeah,
think.
that's what I'm saying. So, I mean, guys are going to have to just be smart and try to hold it together. Cars are driving like crap, man, and the guys are tired. But what do you do now?
I mean, the guy that wins this race is going to be real tired, but he was the one that was determined. I think that's going to be the key here tonight. I mean, of course, all these guys are going to be wore out by the end of this thing, but do you push past that limit? It's almost like that runners get it a lot where they hit a block, almost like a wall, where they don't feel like they can go any further than their limit. But the winners are the ones that push past that limit, right?
Oh yeah, because then you'll totally get a whole nother set of adrenaline. It's a whole new high. It's you can't. Yeah, I was a runner. Of course, I don't run nothing but my mouth now. But
Oh, man, that's pretty funny. I think now is a good time, though. Let's take a brief step away, pay some attention to our sponsors. We'll come right back, and we'll run our mouths some more. What do you think, Big Al?
yeah, that works for me.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
You went, you served, and forged the relationships that only being baptized in the fire of combat can develop. At FallInVeteran.com, we understand the unique bond that veterans share. That's why we've created a platform where you can connect, share experiences, and build lifelong friendships with fellow veterans. Signing up is easy. Simply visit www.fall-in-veteran.com and create your profile. Customize it to reflect your military service interests and hobbies. FallInVeteran.com is more than just an online community. It's a support network where you can find resources, advice, and encouragement from those who understand what you've been through. Whether you're looking for camaraderie, mentorship, or simply a place to share your stories, FallInVeteran.com has it all. Join thousands of veterans who have already found their tribe and start connecting today. FallInVeteran.com. Come join us and experience the power of community. Sign up now at www.fall-in-veteran.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ISCA Super Cup Series. We're just seeing our first caution of the night. Big damage for Blair Holloman. The 10 of Blair Holloman. Big damage on that U.S. Army machine. So we're going to see if we can find out exactly what happened here.
Blair Holloman, Alexander Carr, Greg Carr, Mark Sanchez, 4 drivers with repairs required flags from that incident. That, ladies and gentlemen, would be what we would call the big one.
Let's see exactly what happened here that caused this accident. We see Nick King running up on the top side. Blair Holloman sends it in on Nick King. Gets a little bit loose. Hits that apron, and all of a sudden the car just does not want to grip anymore.
Randy Drumheller just barely makes it by there.
Oh, man. And looks like Blair did not hold the brakes. Oh,
yeah, he did. Oh, yeah, he did too. Wow.
Those guys just came out of turn 4, had no idea what was waiting on them. We need to look through the eyes, I think, of these guys coming and seeing this guy. I mean, just imagine the shock of exiting turn 4 and there is a car sideways in the middle of the racetrack. And they were racing. They were heated racing right there.
Yeah, just like that, we turned 6 cars into lawnmowers.
Yeah, that is going to be the end of some races right there. And, of course, you see Evans battling with Greg Carr. And here we go. This is when they're going to see a surprise. And oh, wow. Boom. What a view from J.C. Evans.
And, unfortunately, this doesn't change everything because we're still not going to be able to make it on the tank of gas. So they're still going to have to stop again no matter what happens.
Wow. I feel like after that one, we might need to talk to somebody.
You can talk to JC or Blair Holloman. Blair's just been having a hell of a night. Be an awesome conversation with him.
All right, we got him up here in the booth. Blair Holloman, what happened, man?
I went low in 3. Started to drift up and overcorrected, went low. Spun it there off of 4, and I held my brake, hoping that people would go around me, but I got hit as if I was the punching bag, I guess. I don't know.
Well, it's kind of a difficult spot to, be sideways in the middle of the track. And yeah, we did notice. At first, I didn't think you held your brake, but, of course, it looked like you did. But then, just out of turn number 4 is almost like a blind exit in a lot of ways. And a lot of drivers, I don't think, knew you were going to be there. So just unfortunate. You qualified so well. Can we get somebody to, can we shout out anybody before we let you get back to it? I know you probably got extensive repairs on that race car.
Oh, yeah, the car is definitely killed. But shout out, definitely want to give a shout out to my friends at Mad Spartan Sim Race, and they helped me out with making a really good setup this week. I qualified it really well. It took a while for the race to get the car comfortable, but that last stage there up until the point of no return, it felt good. I was optimistic, but we'll see what happens next week. We'll try to get back at it.
All right. Well, best of luck next week to you, Blair. Have a great night.
Hey, guys. I'll catch you.
All righty. That was Blair Holloman. Glad to have him up in the booth. We don't really get a chance to talk to him very often.
This changes everything, Brian. And I'm going to tell you, 2 cars still below the walls. The pace car's out of the way. Green flag's going to be coming out.
And, of course, Patrick Gitter in control. Green flag is out. As like you mentioned, we do not have enough fuel to make it to the end.
Yeah, I don't care how much you say. You're going to have to stop. So you might as well push it as hard as you want to at this point and maybe split that last one into a group of 25. I don't know. Everybody's strategies have changed at this point, so all we can do is sit here and watch them unfold. 2 drivers still left down on pit road there. That's going to be the 25 of Greg Carr and also the 10 of Blair Holloman.
Yeah,
I also
definitely
see the
not a
18.
shock there. Greg Carr went up in the air. We saw an awesome camera angle of J.C. Evans going underneath that race car. And shockingly, Evans is still driving. Like, the 9 is still on the racetrack.
Yeah, Greg Carr and Alexander Carr are both still on pit road.
And of course, Patrick Gitter in the midst of a battle right now with Clayton Hoffman. We're looking at the 9, and you can see he definitely has some front-end damage, but it seems like the car is still running. But you can definitely see some significant front-end damage. Battle for the lead, side by side, goes Patrick Gitter and Clayton Hoffman. Clayton, using that high side, is going to take the lead. And this is like, I think you're right, Big Al. I feel like these guys are going to split this last run in half. I feel like the best call would probably be about a 30-lap run. Big send from Jeremy Sumter. Sumter not playing around as he throws it in. We know Sumter's really good on the short run and probably mid-run.
And what you do know, too, is you're going to see some exciting racing now because there's no more conserving. You got to put the hammer down and get around, as that's going to be the key here. Matthew Cisna is going to be he's going to be a factor here eventually because they're going to slowly catch the 11 car. But he is going to be trying to stay on the lead lap, but I don't know how that's going to factor in. For the first time tonight, Brian, I think we'll be dealing with lap traffic.
Yeah, we definitely could. As you can see, Matthew Cisna in the 11 right there. And I'm surprised that we're already going to deal with lap traffic, considering we just had a caution. So I'm not sure
I believe
what's going on there.
I think the 11 had to roll through, or he came back down pit road. So for whatever reason, he found himself actually having to make a unscheduled stop. But the question
sounds like
is
that
now,
might be the
man,
case. It could have been a green flag, maybe a penalty where he
Yeah, I
had to serve it
believe
under
so.
green. Could have been something
I
like
absolutely
that.
believe. I didn't see a black flag on him, but I did see him come down like he was serving a black flag.
Patrick Gitter in the midst of a battle with the 6 of Brandon Pastelacqua. Of course, Pastelacqua has dominated a lot of the late part of the race. And Gitter trying to work his way back forward. I'm not sure, but Gitter just seems like he's a little bit slower. I'm wondering if maybe he is actually trying to save his tires a little bit, even though we're having a little bit more of a different strategy here. Maybe he's trying to save gas. Could that be the case?
Well, yeah, because, the more gas you can conserve, the less time you're going to have to spend, on the lane. And that's the key. We saw that earlier in the race where a 14.1 second pit stop actually led to a guy having, the best showing that he had of the race. So best believe guys are going to be having to pull all the tricks out right now and do what they can to gain an edge.
Now, I do want to mention just kind of while we're in the midst of we got some beating and banging there. Randy Drumhiller and Brian Johnson having a little bit of contact there. No caution. Looks like they're going to stay green and rolling, but that definitely could have led to a caution. You see Nick King almost pushing the 4 down the backstreet. But I was wanting to talk about all the cars that we don't have in the or in the race anymore. Of course, Matthew Cisna just went a lap down, but Greg Carr 11 laps down. Mark Sanchez 12 laps down. That is 18th on back. We started out this race with 25 cars, so that one caution took out, like you mentioned, I think about 4 cars. Just impressive. Have such a clean and green race, and all of a sudden things go wrong for those 4.
So that's what happens. That's why we call it racing instead of, winning or, something else. The race is the process of trying to get to the checkered flag.
First,
now,
you want to win, and you're going to do a lot of things to be able to win.
Well, ultimately, it's the guy who had the best strategy, who had the fastest time. He's going to be the guy that wins this thing. But you got to be perfect a lot more than imperfect. You almost have to be perfect every lap. I had a commander in the military used to say, perfect practice makes perfect. Because if you're just out there doing it, half butt, then what's the point of doing it half butt?
And the battle still rages between Randy Drumhiller and Brian Johnson. Drumhiller taking advantage. Now, I mentioned that those 4 cars that are out of the race now, that has led to a lot of opportunity for guys that maybe were not performing as well, Big Al. Now they're kind of in the contention for top 10, probably. And so I think it's leading to some of these guys to drive a little bit harder.
Yeah, so we started this thing with 25 cars, and now we've got Blair Holloman, Alexander Carr, Jay Hone, John Bender, Greg Carr, Mark Sanchez, Randy Belk, and Randy Mullins that are all out of the car, so out of the race. So that's 8 cars that have retired from this event so far.
Yeah, definitely a lot of cars out of the race already. I mean, of course, we knew this was going to be a marathon, and every marathon I've ever seen, at the end of it, not as many people are in it, right? I mean, that's just kind of how it works. I mean, this is a long haul type race, somewhat of an endurance race. Of course, not quite as long as the 600-mile race, but still, this is an endurance race compared to the other races we see in the ISCA. And of course, last week we saw 250 laps at Norfolk Borough. That is a 0.63 mile track. This is a 1.5 mile track and 200 same lap count.
Yeah, and the big thing here, man, is being available at the end of this thing. Like a lot of guys had plans, they had strategies. Now we got a completely different race at our hands, and we're still watching this thing because it's still unfolding. Clayton Hoffman is out front now, so the question is, man, how much is Clayton going to let it hang out to stay out front? And these guys, you cannot afford to let him keep consistently building on his lead. You've got to keep him close at this point in the race.
I'll tell you who's looking kind of dangerous right now. Greg Wachinski up into the outside wall there on the exit of, I do believe, turn 2 last time by. Now he's side by side with Nick King. King trying to take that position away. As well as I do believe we just saw Brandon Pasalacqua. He's up to 3rd now, trying to chase down Jeremy Sumter. Definitely a lot of moving parts out here. And guys, this car's not handling well. I think, of course, Greg Wachinski, I was talking about him. I think his car is starting to struggle because of the contact with the wall he had earlier. But, yeah, you're right. Clayton Hoffman, you do not want to let him have too much of a gap. And that's for sure. And I'm just wondering, I mean, fuel window is now open. These guys do, if they were to pit right now, they would have enough gas to make it to the end. I do not think anyone's going to pit though right now.
Yeah, still a little bit early, still a little bit premature for that. But speaking of moving, man, I'm looking at Randy Drumhiller in that 44 car, and I mean, he's been getting some pretty cards here as of late, some pretty good cars as of late. Because when those guys got wrecked out, he wasn't running in the top 10 the majority of the night, but he is now.
Yeah, no, 100%. This is kind of giving him an opportunity. As we see Patrick Gitter, he just got by the 50.
Greg Wachinski.
There goes Greg Wachinski down into the...
That also said, I can't see the number of the car. Wachinski back into the field again. Green flag still out.
Yeah, shockingly, the green flag is still out as Randy Drumhiller, after that, moved up to 7th place, so he gained some more spots. Greg Wachinski went from, I do believe, on the edge of the top 10 back to 15th as he took a very exciting ride through the infield.
Yeah, those guys are back there. They're racing. They're sporty and they're overzealous, and everything is happening, and we're just sitting here trying to keep up with it.
And Frank Flores now up into the top 10. He's up in 8th now.
Paul Hill was involved in that, and I think he is actually going to go ahead and send it to the bank at the end of that one.
That's unfortunate. Paul Hill ran up in the top 10 almost all night long. 26 machine, definitely a fantastic run. But yeah, guys on our screen, Frank Flores. Haven't even talked about Frank all day. We haven't talked about him at all, and now he's up in 8th or 9th.
Yep, sitting right there in the top 10 doing exactly what he needs to do, Brian. He just has to be consistent and stay out of trouble. And if you keep doing what you're doing, Frank, you're going to have a decent payday, bud. And that's the difference between your team eating bologna sandwiches and steak.
That's right.
It's a steak night for the Flores Foundation.
As long as the bologna sandwich got some tomato on it, I'm all right.
Well, them boys can have steaks tonight over there in the Flores Foundation.
That's right. That's what he's hoping for. If he finishes like he is, running at the moment.
I'm going to even do one step further. I'm going to give a shout out to Frank. Frank, this is a special shout out to you because I know you're going to go back and watch this. And we're having ourselves a blue light special right now just for you.
Race for the lead is starting to heat up. You can see Jeremy Sumter last time by 29.9 versus Clayton Hoffman 30.015. So definitely we're seeing Jeremy starting to show a little bit more pace than Clayton. But I think that might have something to do with the lap traffic that's right in front of Clayton. And, of course, that is Matthew Cisna in the 11 machine.
Hey, you know another guy that we hadn't said anything about tonight who has just slowly crept up into 12th place position? That'd be Paul
Yeah.
Olsen. Way to go, Paul.
Yeah, Paul has
having a
stayed
solid
alive.
run tonight.
Yeah, he definitely is. Glad to see Paul in the 43, of course, doing well here tonight. Glad to see him out here for sure. As, of course, they get past the lap traffic. That's going to put, I do believe, Cisna now 2 laps down. That puts 15 drivers still on the lead lap. As we're coming up now to 51 laps to go. And I do believe
Also,
we're seeing a battle between Gitter and Pasalacqua for third.
Also want to give a shout out to Kenny Powell. Kenny is doing dual roles. Not only is he the driver here, but he is also kind of an admin, if you will. Last week, I actually spoke out of turn saying that Kenny was getting damage repaired, but he actually wasn't. He was actually doing admin duties. So Kenny had been far, far back in the pack, actually. You know, I looked at one time, he had 26 seconds in the box. But now, Kenny Powell's in the top 10, ladies and gentlemen. So way to go,
Yeah,
Kenny.
that he is. He survived all the melee, and he's up in the top 10. J.C. Evans, who was involved in that last accident that took out some drivers, is up to 11. So you got to give him some credit. Of course, I'll tell you, the battle is on, though, right now for third. Gitter and Pasalacqua have been going at it. And, of course, they're coming up on the lap car of Cisna. If I was in Gitter's shoes, I would use Cisna as a pick here. But it looks like, I think he's going to do exactly that. Because Pasalacqua realizes that, hey, I can't stay side by side with him if we're going to get past this lap car. And this has brought Josh Schaffner into the fray as well. Now, Schaffner has been one of the better drivers on the longer run, and he's clearly showing a lot of pace. Oh, big wiggle off the corner there for Schaffner. Good save, though.
Man, and this thing is definitely starting to play out to look more and more like a race, Brian. And I do believe as we get closer and closer to that 25 to 30 lap, that's when you're going to start to see drivers start to actually come in and pit. Now, it would be a great time right now if you were one of those drivers that had, say, a car to set up better for the longer run, sun's down, track's cool. You know, if your car is on one and you can make it work, it'd be probably a good time to come in. But I think drivers are going to probably stay out for another 10 laps or so.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think 5 to 10 laps. I think that's probably the number I'm looking at. Just because, I mean, of course, we're about 30 laps into this run right now. And I feel like if you stay out another 5, that makes it 35. So another 10, I think that's right on the money, Big Al. So I'm right there with you. I agree. And I think there's a lot of wiggle room here for strategies if you can kind of short pit and jump some people. I think that's
11 car is real slow on the racetrack. Not sure what's going on with that. Not sure what is happening or what happened to the 11.
Looks like we have some problems.
Might be the start of green flag pit stops.
It could be, but I don't know. Matthew Cisna might have had an issue here. No, he's just green flag pit stop. Deciding to come down pit road.
Yeah, but look how long and slow his roll was. I mean, he really drew that out, ladies and gentlemen. That's not going to play in his favor.
That's not a very efficient pit stop here at Charlotte, that's for sure. But I don't think he was trying to go for efficiency. I really think Cisna was. I mean, he's 2 laps down. He's out of the car. Yeah, this is. I assume that was just him calling it quits.
Yep, got it. Makes more sense. You know, at that point, he's realizing, hey, look, probably not going to get any better than I am right now. Barring somebody wrecking out, and he actually can take and make up 2 laps. Now to be 2 laps plus whatever he's missing on that individual. So, yeah. Might as well take it to Chuck E. Cheese, boys.
Well, Josh Schaffner working on Patrick Gitter. He's going to take that position away. He's now up to 4th place. Clayton Hoffman firmly in control of this race right now. He has been running very good. But I'll tell you what, I think Pasalacqua, he has been a little bit faster than the top 2 at the moment. Of course, Pasalacqua has been really good on the long run. along with the other Paradigm guys. I still think there is a chance that we see Passalacqua come up here and possibly tussle with the top two. We're going to have to wait and see. As you can see, Gitter goes back to try to attack the 50.
Barring a late race caution right now, this is going to be all about pit stops and pit strategy. Now, if your guy comes down and he hits it on the mark and he gets down there and he doesn't, lolly or gag, then you're good. But if he's any misstep, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you big at this stage of the competition.
Well, I mean, also I want to think about this. Like, if we see some guys, a lot of the field go down pit road, pop down pit road, and then somebody decides, you know what, I'm going to stay out as long as I can, and then a caution comes out, that changes everything. I mean, I think it's possible that we see something like that happen, especially somebody's going to take that, try to stay out as long as they can strategy, because with it being so close to the end of the race, I just think that someone's going to throw a Hail Mary.
Yeah, I mean, what do you got to lose? Especially if you're not one of those guys that's been up front leading, you don't have a fast car. This is the time to get jiggy with it. 43, that's right, green flag pit stops are underway. The 43, Paul Osen down pit road.
And it looks like we have some other drivers coming to pit road. That's the 43 right there. He misses his spot. Greg Wachinski, the 5 coming to pit road, and
that's what we're talking about right there. He missed his box. Once again, count him out. When you can't do that at this stage. If you just slide forward, Brian, we called in leagues where they actually counted that jump. You know what I mean? So.
Oh yeah. We've been in leagues where that's been very, very. They penalize you if you go through too many boxes.
More than 2. Yep.
Of course, they are battling very hard for the lead. Jeremy Sumter to the inside of Clayton Hoffman. Hoffman, I think, might give this position up. I got to think that Clayton might be thinking of pitting here. And you don't want to be in the midst of a battle if you're getting ready to pit.
Yeah, I mean, what am I racing you for if we're getting ready to pit anyway? I'll just, let you go.
Here he comes. Here he comes. I knew it. I knew he was getting ready to pit because it's like, why would I want to be battling you if I'm getting ready to pit? So I think he was.
And by the way, I didn't show my hand to anybody, and so essentially the leader's on pit road, and nobody knew it. Kenny Powell coming down pit road right now. So think about how valuable that is right there, because that's the one call you want to hear. You want to hear when the leader's on pit road, because he's not going to get any slower, guys. You got to chase this guy. He's the rabbit.
No, that was a very efficient pit stop. I gotta say. I mean, his entry was almost flawless. He was able to get down the speed quick.
It was almost like he went to the Al Nixon Institute for race success. Drive for show, pit for death.
And how does Jeremy Sumter respond? Looks like he's still staying out. Does he come to pit road, or is he just going to stay out? Looks like he's going to keep going.
He's coming. Oh, no, Sumter's staying out. You're right. The 83 is actually coming down. Sorry.
83 of Tim Wortman Jr. electing to come down pit road.
Man, and this is a problem.
Randy Drummiller.
Your best guess now, you play into your driving style if you're Jeremy Sumter, and maybe how fast and long can I go? If he knows what his strong suit is as far as speed on laps, and that's what he has to do. He has to go to that point.
And Patrick Gitter as well is kind of rolling the dice. You can see he's out still on the racetrack, and at the moment there's only 3 drivers that are on the lead lap. Yeah. Jeremy Sumter, Patrick Gitter, and J.C. Evans at the moment.
It's one of those things, man. What's your setup look like?
Yeah,
does it look better for 30 laps or 35?
I don't know. I mean, but the thing is these guys are bleeding time at the moment.
52 pit road.
They're bleeding time to the guys that took tires sooner than they did. So this is going to be tough. This is really tough.
And good luck catching Hoffman. I mean, I'm just saying, we could talk about that all day long, but it's just a conversation, right?
Now, do we see it? Now, I could see maybe Sumter taking a 2-tire stop here. That would
Wow.
not be a bad call. Well, it works at the 1.5 miles,
Yeah.
and it would give him just enough time. If he's fast at least for 35 laps, it could work.
No,
No,
I don't
he's
think
taking
he-
four.
I don't think
He's
he's going
taking
to be.
four, yeah.
I don't think he's going to be fast enough with 2 tires. I think, yeah.
He's taking
I mean,
all
we
four
could have
tires.
that conversation though.
But Patrick Gitter still out on the racetrack. He is still in the lead. This would be, if a caution came out, Gitter would be essentially handed the race, I'd say.
Well,
because it would be really hard for everybody to get their laps back here. It's Clayton Hoffman, you see, of course, has gotten by Jeremy Sumter. Sumter on the new tires now attacking and fighting with Josh Schaffner.
and that's the
Patrick
thing. It's all
Gitter.
about the fight.
I think Gitter's now coming to pit road.
Now
21 to pit road.
J.C. Evans will be the only car now that is not yet pitted, so be watching the 9.
Of course, the 9 has significant front end damage, but if the caution were to come out, he would be handed a gift essentially here.
When do you start to feel desperate? Like, when does the music change? It's 32
Whoa.
laps to go in this thing.
I don't know. I think the music's already changing. Clayton Hoffman, though, I think is in the best position at the moment. I think his pit stop, the way he came down pit road when he did, that was an amazing piece of driving. I mean, he let Sumter go and is immediately efficiently got down pit road.
Absolutely.
And I just got to think that the way he executed that is why he has that 3.8 second gap right now on Pasalacqua, who
Definitely.
is the net second place.
Definitely the move of the race right there, because it was silky smooth. I mean, that's all we can say about that. We'll have to put that on Big L.
If I had tried to do that, I would have hit the barrels. I would have hit Sumter. I would have hit somebody or something.
That was a beautiful transition.
No, it definitely was. J.C. Evans still in the lead right now. He's got about 15 seconds back to Clayton Hoffman, just to kind of give a little bit of an example of how the speed differences are. J.C. Evans last time by 31.2. Clayton Hoffman 29.6.
There's a lot of sketchy stuff going on out there, so I'm just, every time I'm watching JC go around and around until he pits, I'm just like, man.
Yeah, you can see battling going on. Frank Flores and Greg Wachinski. But clearly, they are battling. Here goes Jeremy Sumter. He gets past Brandon Pasalacqua. They are still actually battling. I think Sumter might have the pass. He's on the top side. Now, Sumter, of course, was the leader. And now, he's still got 3.9 seconds to get up to Clayton. I just don't. Do you think he can catch Clayton? That's a long way to go to try to catch Clayton.
And, Clayton will probably just keep leading them in, making them burn his tires up. That's one of those Clayton Hoffman signature moves. A lot of guys don't realize what's happening. It's like that brown recluse kiss. So, yeah, he's been doing it for a long time, man, and that shows.
Yeah.
So,
Tim Wortman Jr. is caught up to Patrick Gitter. Going to try to see if he can get by for that 6th place position. Now, Gitter, I do believe, pitted pretty recently, so he should have fairly newer tires. And I think he actually might be able to hold off the 83, getting up to speed.
Yeah, J.C. Evans way, way slow on the pace there. So I don't know what his strategy is at this point, but I'm waving the white flag saying, it's not the end of the race. Yeah, you need to come on down the pit road, bud.
I think he's really just throwing a Hail Mary pass here. This is a desperation move. This is a gamble. And I can't blame him for rolling the dice. I cannot blame him for trying to see if maybe he can get a win.
Run out? I got you, bro. I applaud everybody. It's what other choices he have? He has to do something. He's doing something. He's still got a pit though.
No, he definitely does, but he'd much rather pit under yellow.
True story. I understand that.
But I don't know if that's going to be the way things are going to work out, as we're now 25 laps to go. You see Brian Johnson there unlapping himself, puts himself up on the lead lap. Run down through the field as it runs right now. J.C. Evans, our leader. Clayton Hoffman second. Jeremy Sumter is in third. Brandon Pasalacqua fourth. John Schaffner fifth. Patrick Gitters in sixth. Tim Wortman Jr. is in seventh. Randy Drumhiller in eighth. Nick King in ninth. Greg Wychinski rounds out our top 10. I just want to point back to Jeremy Sumter and Clayton Hoffman now. Jeremy has 2.6 seconds to get up to Clayton. When we last looked at him, he had 4 seconds. He is running Clayton down. 0.3 of a second faster last time by. Here comes J.C. Evans to pit road. Are you seeing what I'm seeing, though, Big Al? Jeremy has got a lot of speed on the short runs, and I think he's really trying to get as many ponies as he can out of that race car.
You got to make it do something, man.
It's a long shot to try to catch Clayton, but I think Jeremy's doing it. I mean, we still have, I do believe, coming up to 22 laps to go, and that's enough time. But the thing is when he catches Clayton, will he have burned his tires up? Because that's the thing, like chasing that carrot. I talk about that a lot. When you chase that carrot, that's not a good thing a lot of times. You know, you can be burning those tires up, and he might not have enough to get past Clayton when he finally catches him.
Yeah, coming to 20. I mean, right now we're 21 laps to go at the line. In catching Clayton, it's going to be one book, but passing Clayton, that's like 2 other series of books. Especially when you're down here racing for the win. He has been beat too many times. I hate to say that, but yeah, he has been bested like in stages and at the end of races by guys, and I think he's probably getting a little fed up on it. I don't think he likes talking to me at the end of the race.
Who's that, Jeremy Sumter?
No, Clayton.
Oh, I don't know. I thought Clayton gets bested? What are you talking about?
Well, I'm saying he has definitely come up short a couple of times. You know what I mean? Like Patrick Gitter had more car than he did last week. It's just, I'm just saying, he is getting tired of that.
Did Clayton not win? I'm trying to remember.
No, I picked Clayton to win. I think it was Gitter.
Oh, man. That's surprising. I guess I'm just misremembering. Kenny Powell,
you have selective
right now,
memory.
I definitely do. You're 100% right. I am not disagreeing with you. Greg Wychinski battling with Kenny Powell at the moment. And of course, you see Frank Flores as well right there. Greg goes side by side with the 8. This is for the 9th place position.
Man, these guys have got to be feeling pretty good about themselves and their run here. Less than 20 laps to go in this thing. You got Flores, Wychinski, and Powell all competing to be in the top 10. It's a pretty good night, man.
Oh, it definitely is a pretty good night. But I got to be honest, I think if I'm in Greg's shoes, I'm a little frustrated. I feel like Greg has had a little bit of an up and down day, and just I bet you Greg is probably like, just let me by, please. I would not be surprised.
Well, I mean, I got you there, but you're pretty stoked with a top 10 finish, man.
He's been through the grass about 1 million times. He's aggravated. I guarantee you that Greg Wychinski is not in a good mood right now because he's been through the grass too many times. Can you?
Yeah, I'm not going to argue on that one. I think everybody's probably pouting just a little bit at this point in the stage.
I mean, we're over 350 miles into this race. I mean, this is.
Yeah, honestly, I'm sick of hearing your voice.
Oh man!
I'm just kidding. We got to keep it loose around here, man.
I like it. No, I'm digging it, man. I'll tell you what is going crazy out here on the racetrack right now. Jeremy Sumter, he's a half a second behind Clayton Hoffman right now.
Clayton's dragging his brakes.
He went from 4 seconds.
I'm telling you, Clayton is just letting them catch up, man. He's giving them that false sense, making him, because he's getting the call outs. It's in his head. He's seeing the lap times, and he's got to just go a little faster. You got to catch him. You catch him. And then all of a sudden, Clayton's be like, "Yep, see ya."
We'll see. I mean, we know Clayton did say his car was good at the end of the run, so we'll see if that's going to be the case.
And it's not even fun unless you got somebody like right on your bumper making them feel like they got a chance. I mean, come on.
We'll see, because I mean he's there 1/10.
Everybody at home is like,
if he's going to
"Oh,
engage, he needs to engage because here comes Sumter.
Gitter just got into the 5-0 Josh Schaffner. That was very, very, it was touchy-feely, but it was just enough to make Schaffner uncomfortable. His car was unsettled, and he did definitely go up higher on the racetrack. So that just pulled any momentum that Schaffner had out. So now Gitter goes, it just floats by, and Schaffner's got to be feeling pretty defeated right now on that one.
Yeah, I bet Schaffner's probably not too happy with the 21. I wish we could get a replay of that and see exactly what happened.
Ooh.
But here we go. Looks like Sumter has made the pass for the lead.
That's
Can
interesting.
he hold on to it as these Toyotas battle for this win?
That's very interesting because Clayton's tires are 4 laps older than Sumter's. 1 lap older than Brandon Pasalakwa's. Brandon's not yet into the scene as he is still being shown some 3. What do we got him on? Yeah, 3.2 seconds behind.
Yeah, and right now his lap times are pretty comparable with Clayton. I think he was about 200ths faster than Clayton Hoffman last time by. Now, of course, Patrick, I think, is trying to work his way up to Brandon. And, of course, Josh probably trying to recover. Now, Schaffner, last time by, was about the second fastest car on the track. So I wouldn't be surprised if Schaffner might get back to the 21. Possibly. It could happen.
Well, you better start getting, buddy, because we got 10 laps to go at the line.
You're right.
We're running out of time.
We are. And what a significant race here tonight. I mean, I got to say, I would never have predicted that it would have turned out the way it has, that it has unfolded this way. I mean, we saw Clayton and Gitter. They were, like I mentioned earlier, the two to beat in the first 2 stages, I'd say. And then you got Brandon Pasalakwa, who won stage number 3, right? I mean, he looked like, I got to say, I felt like Pasalakwa was my favorite. I thought he was going to possibly get it done. And then where did Sumter come from, right? I mean, where did this guy come from?
Well, Sumter, I mean, he's been out there all night. Heck, he had an excellent stage 2. I mean, really gave Clayton a run for his money. And man, I didn't think it would have happened twice, but here it is. This dude is actually running away with this thing. Less than 10 laps to go, and I don't think anybody can catch him.
And the thing is when we saw him earlier, when he was in the lead, he had pulled away to over a second. But then everybody caught him again, right? I mean, he had made that mistake of pulling away. But this time, I think he's got the balance of the car figured out. And it's also nighttime, so it seems like, I don't know if the car is just suiting him right now, or maybe they've laid some adjustments into the 52.
I think maybe he's probably been listening to the broadcast, taking tips from Big Al.
Probably. It's got to be what it is.
Nah, I doubt it. But yeah, man, solid run for Jeremy Sumter and that group. They got to be feeling pumped up. And man, for every team that makes it through this thing tonight, Brian, salute. Man, I salute you guys because this has definitely been a grueling task right here.
Oh, it definitely has been. These guys are probably never going to want to see Charlotte again, especially if they ran the NIS.
Yeah, that's a lot of Charlotte.
And I do believe it's going to be an interesting one next week. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Gateway next week. Not exactly sure. I got to look that up, but I'm pretty sure we're going to Gateway next week, which is that's a tough one.
that's a shifter.
That's a shifting track. That's one of the most unique tracks that NASCAR goes to, and it's been crazy to see the Cup cars go there.
Yeah, definitely, because the Truck Series used to go there, but the Cup cars in the Infinity cars, that Xfinity cars, that's recent. 5 laps to go, Brian.
Yep, 5 laps to go. Jeremy Sumter has about a 0.6 of a second lead right now. But the battle has heated up for, I'd say, third place. Patrick Gitter has caught up to Brandon Pasalacqua. They also have a lap car of J.C. Evans. Of course, Evans was one of the last people to pit. He is trying to, I think, work his way up to unlap himself, but I don't think he's going to be able to. But he will be definitely influencing this race for third. Oh, a little bit of a wiggle there from Gitter. And that's going to take some of the momentum away.
The good thing is, guys, as we sit here and we look back on this thing, I mean, how many cautions have we had? 2?
1, based on
one
accident. 1. We were all wrong.
And I was afraid of that. I was afraid that we overshot it.
Yeah, I felt like 2 would have been it, but no, we were all wrong. But it ain't over yet. JC might cause a caution. You never know.
Oh, come on now. He's a fellow commentator.
I don't know, man. He's been through a lot here tonight.
Yeah, all the way down
to 2 laps to go.
He's at 13, trying to maintain his position on the lead lap.
They are battling right now for third. This is definitely the battle we want to watch, because you see the 6. He's trying to block the 21. The 21's fast right now. I think the 21 might have him.
Yeah, Gitter just gave him that chrome horn. You know, he's just letting him know, man, okay, it's been fun. Now get the hell out of the way.
That's probably exactly what he's thinking.
I mean, that's
come over to get closer, touching.
They touching.
You know, it gets exciting when some touching happens here on the racetrack.
Get really
side
excited.
By side, still side by side for third. Of course, the white flag is waving. Next flag will end it as they are drag racing for third.
Trying to see who gets the spot on the podium. Ladies and gentlemen, this is more than just bragging rights as well. I mean, these guys are definitely. Well, yeah, but I mean, they've been here duking it out here for the majority of the contest, and now it is about who finishes first.
Of course, Jeremy Sumter has crossed the line and won this race. Oh no, Patrick Gitter gets loose on the exit of 4, and he barely hangs on to 4th. Wow. Did you see that? Patrick Gitter just got loose off of 4 and sideways crossed the line in front of John Schaffner. That was close. But Jeremy Sumter, your winner here tonight. We did have Big Al. We talked about how crazy it would be. We had a different winner for every stage and the race.
Absolutely. And that just goes to show the caliber of individuals and contestants we have here, man, the week in and week out. 4 different winners here tonight at Charlotte.
Definitely fantastic. Let's go down through the running order, our final running order here. Jeremy Sumter, of course, your winner. Clayton Hoffman comes home in 2nd place. Brandon Pasalacqua finishes in 3rd. Patrick Gitter in 4th place. Josh Schaffner, of course, 5th. Tim Wortman Jr. in 6th. Randy Drumhiller in 7th. 8th place, Nick King. Kenny Powell in 9th. Greg Wachinski 10th. Brian Johnson 11th. And Frank Flores in 12th.
That's going to put J.C. Evans in 13, 14, Paul Ocean. Jose Medina is in 15, 16 shows Matthew Cisna, 17th Paul Hill, 18th Greg Carr, 19th Mark Sanchez, 20th Alexander Carr. 21st position is going to be Blair Holloman, 22nd Randy Mullins, 23rd John Bender. 24th is Randy Belk, and Jay Hone rounds out this 25-car field. Thank you for joining us. We're going to take a brief step away, and we'll be right back with our post-race show.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ISCA Super Cup Series race here at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Paradigm 375. We just completed 375 miles here at Charlotte, and it was a long, long race. Of course, we're going to talk to our third place finisher, Brandon Pasalacqua. Brandon, you were able to win a stage, and I got to be honest, at most of the late parts of this race, you were my favorite. I thought you were the best, really on the full spectrum of the run. What happened? What did you need?
Yeah, I just needed to push the pace more with that last stint, that last 77 lap run. We're trying to figure out where to split that run in terms of coming down and getting the fuel we need till the end. I just needed to push more there, which is something I've struggled with at the track this week. Had struggled in the 600 last night with pushing the pace. We kind of hoped for a long run, and I thought my car between last night and tonight was one of the best when it came to a 45 lap run or more. But unfortunately, those have been few and far between this week. So all in all, it was fine. I just need to push the pace more that last run. But Jeremy had a phenomenal race last night, 600 winning that, and he was fast tonight. So congrats to him. And Clayton, as we know, is always super quick. So congratulations to those guys.
Definitely a really good points day for you today. Now, I do believe Gateway is coming up next week, if I'm not mistaken. That's a very technical track. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, I think I was awful there last year. So that track along with Arlington are the types of tracks that I struggle at. So I'm going to be leaning on the guys at Paradigm to just pick their brains and figure out how to get around there. And if we can just come out with a decent point stay there, that would be a good deal.
Now, I got to ask, just to kind of backtrack a little bit. Now, of course, the race was sponsored by Paradigm, which is really, really cool that you guys will support the league like that. Does that kind of disappoint you that you weren't able to get it in victory lane?
Yeah, I mean, of course, you want to try putting it in victory lane, but we did get some TV time with the stage 3 victory, so that was a good deal there. And you can't be picky when racing ISCA. The field's too competitive, and man, I mean, just to get out of here with a top 5 or a podium is a hell of an accomplishment. So yeah, I mean, it would have been super cool, putting a Paradigm Motorsports car in the victory lane with us sponsoring it. But we all had decent runs tonight, and we got to be proud of that. And I think again, we have the pace. We just got to keep putting races together and finishing races, and it'll put us in a good spot come playoff time.
100%. Well, definitely thanks for your time. Who can we shout out, Brandon, after your third place finish?
Yeah, for sure. Just want to give a shout out to Paradigm Motorsports. We wanted to help sponsor a few races this year to
one, I know we know everybody contributes to the league in their own ways. This is our way of contributing, and hopefully that inspires some other teams or individuals or businesses to hopefully want to sponsor races throughout the year as well. I mean, it only helps the league, and hopefully we can do more cool stuff like the awesome broadcasts we have with the more people that help out. So, I want to give a shout out to the team there, the team driving tonight, and the work they put in this week. Give a shout out to you, Big Al, Brian, and Colby in the booth. Kenny and everything he does for the league, and great job to all the drivers tonight for us putting together a good race. I think we only had one caution, so it doesn't get much better than that.
All right, Brandon. Thanks for your time. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Brian. Take care.
All righty, that was Brandon Pastelacqua. Next up, Clayton Hoffman standing by with Big Al.
Clayton Hoffman, Big Al in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, congratulations, boss, for your second place finish. Probably didn't work out the way you planned, man, but why don't you talk us through what happened there, especially going through the third stage? We had kind of talked a little bit there with your stage 2 victory about how your car was going to come to you and everything, but that, unfortunately, green flag pit stops did work out, but not the way we planned. So why don't you tell us about everything going forward?
Well, started that last stage in the back because I hit the wall at the end of the third stage. So the plan was to, save the tires. If there was an opportunity to move forward and push forward, do that, and then try to get back in line and just sit in the draft and try to cool the tires back off. Um, and yeah, it pretty much worked out that way. I got in line behind. I'm not sure. I got a line behind someone who was behind Patrick, and then I rode behind Patrick after that person. His tires fell off a little bit. I think it was Greg. That's what it was. Yeah. So rode in line there. Everything worked out, and then we got a caution. And then the way the caution worked out, it was just a little bit too long to make it worthwhile to try and save fuel. So I decided I was going to be aggressive and had a really good pit stop. Came out, I think, P2, and decided, I was going to be aggressive on that. Led a bunch of laps, and yeah, just couldn't outpace Jeremy there. I thought I had the right strategy at the end of the race, but Jeremy was just too quick, and yeah, I thought I saved enough tire to compete with him, but I did not. I could barely keep up with him there at the end.
Yeah, he was rolling, man, but still P2, not too shabby. Congratulations. Next week we head to Gateway. Uh, what are you thinking going from this mile and a half to that track?
Gateway's pretty cool. I don't know. I think we're still on the same old scan, so it's not smooth. It's nice and it's really bumpy. So, uh, turn 1 and 2, there's a pretty cool corner. It's basically like a short track, and then you got 3 and 4. That's like a kind of like a flat intermediate type corner where it really swings out, and you have a lot of space to work with as far as setting up passes. So I think it'll be interesting. I've had some fun races there in this league a couple years ago, so I'm looking forward to it.
Well, good. Me too. Hopefully we can duplicate that again, man. Who you shouting out tonight for your second place finish?
Shout out to Nitro Racing. Shout out to you guys in the booth, Kenny, for still putting on the league. Paradigm for sponsoring the race. Yeah, it was a good race. Mostly clean. And yeah, I mean, still like being back. Hopefully, I don't have to miss any other races here in the near future.
Roger that, boss. Glad to have you back. Congratulations. No one does what you do. As I always say, don't party too hard. And we'll see you next week.
All righty, that was Clayton Hoffman, driver of the 92 machine. I want to echo that. We are glad to have Clayton back in the series, that's for sure. Of course, next up, we're going to be talking to Jeremy Sumter, who won his second race now in the ISCA. Jeremy, man, what a job for you tonight. I mean, we saw a different winner for stage 1, different winner for stage 2, different winner for stage 3, and then here you come out and win the whole race. How's it feel, man, to win here, and you ran up in the top 10 all night long?
Felt good. It was a bit of a struggle early. The temperature was a little warmer than I wanted it to be, but once it cooled down, car was a rocket.
Definitely seemed like you had a really good car underneath you for sure. And so did you have to make adjustments to the race car, or was it just kind of like biding your time until the car came to you?
Just biding my time till it came to me. I knew as soon as the temperature dropped, I'd have a strong car, and I just wanted to, roll, keep pace, try to stay up front if I could. And as soon as the temperature dropped, just get in it, and it worked out.
And what was going through your mind when you saw kind of Clayton? You had passed Clayton, and then all of a sudden, as soon as you got by him, he drops down pit road. Very smooth move. What was going through your mind? Did you like, okay, I'm resigned to stick with my strategy, or did that provoke you to do anything different?
No, my goal the whole time is if they pit early, I was going to wait 4, 5, 6 laps and then go in, as long as they didn't pit too late. And it worked out. I had the pressures. I knew I would catch them. I didn't know if I could stay in front of them, but I knew I could catch them. And then
And you did
tires stayed
exactly
underneath
that.
me. It felt good.
And that was actually really impressive as well, because I mean, when you came out of exited pit road, I do believe you had about 4 seconds in between you and Clayton, and you were able to knock that down fairly quickly. We were watching it kind of tick down, and it was very impressive to say the least. And I be honest with you, I didn't think you were going to catch him. I got to be completely honest, but you were able to do it. You got by him, and you grabbed the win. I mean, what is this? How does this make you feel? I mean, I know you also got the NIS win last night. Which one do you think is more important, the ISCA win or NIS?
Oh, the ISCA win, no doubt. I mean, I enjoyed last night. That was a good race. But this is a really competitive group, and it feels really good to get anything out of this. Even a podium is great, but a win just makes you feel incredible.
Well, definitely. Congratulations on the win, Jeremy. Next week, we're going to Gateway. Is that a track that's in your wheelhouse?
It is. Watson always puts out a good car on Gateway Week, so I'm pretty excited for it.
All right. We're definitely looking forward to seeing you next week as well. Who can we give a shout out after this big win, your second win of the season?
Oh, man. Team Watson, of course, Inside Lane Production, J-Tune, Paradigm for putting this on. You guys in the booth, always. I got to give a shout out to Brandon Bikey if he's watching. He's the one that secured this one for me. So that's about it.
All right. Thanks for your time, Jeremy. Congratulations.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks.
All righty. That was Jeremy Sumter, driver of the 52 machine. Definitely a fantastic performance for him. And I know I gotta say something about Kobe Jordan. Of course, is the operator of Inside Lane Production, that team. So it's got to be a big day for him as well, Big Al. I mean, imagine the feeling that that Kobe behind the camera is having right now. If he had a mic, I'm sure he would tell us all about it.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Brian. But once again, wow, hats off to the drivers for coming out here doing what they do, Brian, because they were in the shoot tonight and we had no shortage of anything to talk about, and that's a big deal, And thanks for Kenny for putting this on, man. I know it's a lot going on, and we appreciate it, man. And thank you, Brian, for just really kind of being the best assistant I could ask for. And Kobe, you keep doing what you're doing behind the scenes there, boss.
Yeah, I don't mind being your assistant, Big Al. That's what's up. But great race to everybody. I definitely want to echo a lot of that. I mean, just fantastic run from everybody. Great production from Kobe. Just to see a race like this that's just so long and to go so green is really just fun to watch. And of course, it's been a long one, but it's been fun as well. So I got to say that. And of course, thank you to all the people that watch. That's a big deal. I know a lot of friends and family of the competition like to tune in, and we love to have you. So thank you for supporting the ISCA. Of course, make sure you tune in 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next week. We're going to be at Worldwide Technology Raceway, or Gateway. Looking forward to that one. That's a very tricky place, and I don't know what to expect, but I know we'll see some shifting, that's for sure, and some tire wear. So make sure you tune in with us a little after 9:30. That's when the green flag drops. I've been Brian Britt. This has been the ISCA. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for tuning in to the ISCA broadcast. I am Josh Schaffner, driver of the Paradigm Motorsports number 50 car. Over the past 9 months, our team at Paradigm has accomplished so much. From forming the team and driver roster, 12 wins in ISCA in 2023, winning the 2023 ISCA Team Championship, having 2 drivers in the Championship 4 in Phoenix, and having an incredible run in the Daytona 24-hour race in January. An effort that took us 2 years to plan and couldn't have been done without the formation of Paradigm Motorsports. With that said, it's my pleasure to announce that tonight's race at Charlotte will be the first of 5 races for which the Paradigm Motorsports team will be the primary sponsor. ISCA is a long-running league known for clean racing, long green flag runs, and excellent competition. ISCA has experienced exceptional growth in 2024. Our Paradigm Motorsports team felt it was a wonderful opportunity to partner with the ISCA during this time of growth to enhance the league for the remainder of the season and beyond. Our sponsored races will all have reasoning behind them, and we look forward to sharing these stories as the season progresses. Tonight's race is one of the biggest and longest races of the season, and the race in which I captured my first ISCA victory. I joined this league because of its reputation to race around drivers that over time would make me a better driver. Seeing so many names from that race still competing in ISCA today is excellent. Last and most importantly, as we head into this Memorial Day weekend, let us honor and remember the brave men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. On behalf of the entire